What is up? What is good? Happy Saturday, everybody. Hope you guys had a good week. This is Straight Savage Podcast, 10:30s every Saturday, not unless something crazy happened. But more or less, we're going to be here, man. Today, episode, we got a bit of toy news, man, but we also got a special guest. We got a guy that usually hangs out, man, probably pretty much been here since the beginning. Since I started doing it on the phone back in like October, man. And he was a really good young brother, man. Always supported, you know what I'm saying, making people get the likes up. And chit-chatted with a little bit on Instagram with him. And actually been on my Instagram for a minute. I didn't know who he was, you know what I'm saying? But he came under a different name, man. But we got a guest today. We got my man Swiftshot, the Autobot, man, who we kind of be co-hosting with me. And we'll have a Q&A kind of like last week, man. So he's a day special guest. I'm going to bring him from backstage. And we got Swiftshot on right now. What's going on with you, brother?
Yeah, what's good, fam? How you doing?
Good, man. You know, so I just got a chance to chat with you backstage for a little bit, man. Had to do the little monologue to bring you in. But everybody, this is Swiftshot, good young brother, man, that be in the comments all the time representing. And today's episode of the podcast is young head versus old head, man. But not necessarily versus, man, because we all on one accord. We all on one page here, man. But we just going to have a good conversation today. And talk about action figures. We're gonna talk about some hip hop too, and man, probably in the future, man, we might just do it might not be Straight Savage, but I might do another episode where we just strictly talk about hip hop and just different topics, man. If you down for it, because that one episode about a couple of months ago, I didn't get a chance to talk about action figures. We talked about hip hop the entire time, yo, and I was like, well, shit, I gotta go to work, yo, I gotta get out of here, man.
Oh yeah. We could definitely do that.
Correct, man. People be out there be thirsty for that different conversation, man. And that's basically what it is. We talk about action figures, but we talk about life too. And I didn't mind doing that. I wasn't mad that we didn't talk about action figures because shit, I mean, as you can see, I'm fucking surrounded by action figures. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be here, man. But the conversations that we build, brother, is what it's all about, man. But let me check the chat, see who's all in the chat, say what's up to them. Oh, they done got nice and full.
Tony, shout out to the chat.
Jamie Lynn, what up, though? Steve-O, what's going on, brother? Hustle, what's good with you, brother?
Shout out Hustle.
Hustle. Matthew Scott, what's going on with you, fam? Thank you, Legend Series. Make sure I hit that like button, man. Let's try to get this podcast up and going here. Jay's Figs, what's going on? Sadaldo, Javier, what's popping, man? It says, what up? Editing a video coming soon. Was waiting. I'll be supporting for a while. No doubt, man. You know it's all love, brother. Hustle said, you see Jim Jones interview talking about having G.I. Joes. You got to use that as a clip for the show. Hustle, which one was it? Because I know he been on Art of Dialogue. You watched that Swiftshot? You watch
Art of Dialogue? I see them sometimes. I don't see I don't know what's wrong with my algorithm because in the past I have seen certain interviews. I saw the interview with I think it was Richard Pryor's bodyguard, and then the other interview that he did with the dude that got locked up recently that pretty much started the whole domino effect for the whole Diddy case. I forgot that dude's name. Yeah, there we go. I saw that one, and I saw the other one, but recently I don't know what happened. They just took it off, or it's in my algorithm. I haven't seen that many of them.
I watch a lot of stuff like that, like Vlad and shit like that. So he started coming in, then Say Cheese and all that started coming in. But I gotta see what Jim Jones talking about because that would be a nice clip. I gotta find some way to get clips other than Yarn. That's a little program I use. But Herb says, "What up, fellas?" DJ Hellhammer, happy Saturday. What's going on? Nerd alert, what up? Necro 216, what's going on? Frank, what up? John Kane, what's popping, my dog? Joe Dirty, North Carolina in the house. Okay, I see it. Okay, Art of Dialogue. Okay, that's the one. Okay, Tony be on point. He got the thread right there.
Yeah, I'll say art of dialogue I like better. I feel like
Yeah.
Vlad is a culture vulture, to be honest. So I don't really like watching Vlad.
I'm kind of mixed on Vlad being a culture vulture because he been in the culture, but it just seemed like he's there for the controversy. But
The only reason why he's in the culture is just because he got in there early and just nobody's checked him until recently. Like, think about this for a second. We call him DJ Vlad. You can't even Google a single song that he's made. So why does he have the title of DJ Vlad? Just like DJ Whackademics. It's like, bro, you have the title of DJ, but you can't find a single song that they've DJ'd, and you definitely can't find a single successful song. Vlad has always irked me for a while, but when the whole Kendrick and Drake beef happened, and Vlad wanted to try to say, "Oh, Not Like Us could have been mixed better," I was like, okay. So when was the last time you had a song that even hit the top 100 charts, Vlad? I was like, so you don't have a right to say, "Oh, this could have been mixed better" or not.
I think his title is a DJ title. Now, academics, I'm not too sure, but you talking about like real working DJs. I'm talking about putting the needle to the groove. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but Vlad always brags about he put together a Tupac mixtape back in 2002. You know what I'm saying? So
Did he really though? Like who's heard of it? Who's heard of it? Because sometimes I feel like people just be saying shit and it's just so old they get to grandfather in. People be like, I'll respect, because people want to respect old heads. So they'll be like, I'm not gonna question it too hard. But I'm at the point, I'm like, no, fuck that. Why should I give you that respect? I want to know. It's like I'm at the point where I'm questioning everybody. I'm like, no, why should we give you this respect? Let me know if you got the credentials, bro. It's just like when the bartender asks you for ID. I know it sounds crazy. We old and like it's like you can't tell I'm older than 21. But you know, if you got the credentials, boom, there you go. It's not that simple.
Yeah, he's kind of iffy, but I take him for what he is, and pretty much right now, people don't like to call those people journalists, but they basically are. It's the new wave. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people really not checking for 60 Minutes anymore. They looking for the internet people. And the cool thing about it though, he got a guy on there named Moray, who's actually from Fayetteville, that he interviewed. A guy had the song Quicksand like a couple of years ago. But yeah, Vlad, he's kind of hit and miss. Let me get to these guys on this chat right quick. Nameless Void says, just saw Brave New World. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's not great or garbage. It's just mid. It's better than Thor, Ant-Man, Eternals, The Marvels, and I enjoyed it more than Black Panther 2. I actually like the way Brave New World looks. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to go check it out. I was saying last night, because we took our girls out last night for Valentine's Day. We took them to like a place to the arcade, but me and my wife was like, well, shit, we should have dropped them off and went to the movie somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I said, I would have went to go see it because I hadn't been to the movies in a very long time. I went to go see Deadpool and Wolverine, but
that was a while ago. That was summer of last year.
Well, check it though. Before then, I hadn't been to the movies in 4 or 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much since COVID. And the only reason I went to that, I saw it late. I saw it like October, and it already been out since July. I was waiting out in Charlotte on a layover to go pick up a load from Amazon. I had like 4 or 5 hours. I was like, let me go check this shit out, man. But that and that Fantastic Four. I was gonna show the video for Fantastic Four last week, but I kind of got caught up in questions with Aaron. But man, the Fantastic Four looked pretty decent too. But I might give it a chance.
I will say I saw the new Captain America Brave New World, and I agree. I would give it I give it like an 8.5 out of 10 because I'm also a huge like Marvel nerd. Like Marvel has changed since Endgame. I will say that, but at the same time, I'm one of those people that watched like the first Iron Man, the Incredible Hulk back in 2008. Like I remember watching those movies in the theaters, and I also I go to the movies a lot because I'm one of those people that like. Even though I'm young, I really love the movie theater. Like, I get it. Some people like it's expensive or whatever. But for me, the whole experience of going to the movies, I really love that. And also, ever since the Rona, it really gave me a reality check of, I honestly, like, I pray that I'm wrong, but I really don't think movie theaters are going to be around in another decade, because like the Rona made everybody like fearful to go outside, and the movie theaters have been struggling because there hasn't been that many good movies that have been coming out. Like I legit used to go, like I had a Regal, like a membership thing where, like, you know, you go enough times, you accumulate enough points where you can get a free ticket. Bro, I would accumulate so many points, I would have one free ticket, then I would save it until I got a second free ticket. I would use one free ticket and then just hold the second free ticket until I got another free ticket. And then sometimes, you know, back in college, if I wanted to go on a date and I was like, my money's a little funny right now, I was like, well, I'll just use the 2 free tickets and then just accumulate more points.
No doubt.
Nowadays, I don't go to movies like that, but that's only because I don't feel like there's been that many good movies that have been coming out. Especially, I really love the drive-through. I used to love the drive-through movie theater.
I haven't been to one of those in a very long time. But as far as the movies actually going, I thought maybe a couple of years ago they probably would go out. But I still think people like the experience. But they got to change their game up a little bit. Like, matter of fact, the place we went to last night was right beside a place that used to be a dollar theater. But that's not a dollar theater no more. They kind of got a mix of movies. They got some dollar movies. Then they might have that Captain America too. You know, like back in the day in the 90s, you could have a fucking full, you know, roster of movies at the dollar theater. And then you got the big time movies and shit, which we always went to the dollar theater. But it's definitely not like that. And be honest with you, I like the experience of watching shit at the house. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't got to go nowhere. But then again, there is, you know, every now and then a movie, I want to go see that shit in the theater. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of those movies. I wouldn't mind going seeing that Fantastic Four in the theater. That's one of those movies, like when you see Galactus on screen and he's huge, you know what I'm saying? But then he's huge right in front of you, and that's the whole experience. Then you got the what's that? You know, that sound and shit that they got in there.
Yeah, that IMAX and everything.
Yes, and that's really what it's all about. Let me see. Oh, okay. DJ Hellhammer said, fantastic Black History Month video, my G. Hey, appreciate that, man. That's my 3rd year. And just anybody who's in the chat who's seen that, like, I know people be asking for other figures, but I probably did them in the previous years, or they'll like come next year. And what I do, man, I just take out some of the African action figures that I got, man, that's pretty dope, and just show them some light, especially ones that people don't know about, like that John Jones figure that I got that I actually turned into kind of like a figure for myself and shit. That shit is fire, but it's out of stock, and it was a line that never took off. It was a UFC line. He says, Sadaldo says, one search on YouTube different from the normal, and the whole algorithm can change in YouTube. Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about it. We were talking about earlier. He says, Hustle says Vlad is a necessary evil. and that's where I kind of feel about him and shit. It's like it's almost like he's informative, but then at the same time he's fucking annoying too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you on that. I feel you on that.
Herb says I don't fuck with Vlad either. DJ Hellhammer says same with Khaled. Academics neither. I don't really fuck with academics. He's I just don't like. I don't feel him. Joe Budden as well.
I will say though, with DJ Khaled, he does have songs. You can look up, and you have in the past heard songs that DJ Khaled mixed, or at least got the people on, had his hand in. You can't do that with any of the other ones. Like, I tried. I was like, maybe I'm just being a hater. I was like, maybe I'm just being a hater. Let me try to find it. But bro, I went on a hard YouTube search. I couldn't find nothing. I was like, wow, okay, so they just don't.
To be honest with you, even with Khaled, he'll orchestrate some shit. I'll give him that, you know what I'm saying? But the other guys, they just pretty much have the title. Hold on one second. Toy Domination, what's going on with you, man? I appreciate that, man. I've been trying to do, he says, loving the Dragonfly Down videos. I've been trying to get this next episode of the table going, and I probably will start tomorrow, because I know within the next month I'm gonna be like going at it, man, trying to get something going with these guys in this company here. Legend series. And everybody, man, thank my man Tony, man. He actually wanted to come on and be a moderator and shit for me, man. So he's got links for y'all there, man. That like that DJ Vlad Tupac album. And look, and just real quick, and I'm gonna get off Vlad this shit. But he won an award for that shit, I think, back in the day, and that's his claim of fame. Like, it won mixtape of the year in 2002 and shit. I'm like, all right, Vlad. But Tony has it up there. He has the link.
Okay, I will listen to it. My only thing is, what have you done this decade or last decade? That's my only thing.
Nothing music wise. I think he switched over into the journalism shit like in like 09, 2010, because being a DJ wasn't cutting it out for him. He just kept the DJ name, and that's pretty much what it is. Because I didn't know about him till like 2019, man. I don't know how the fuck he popped up, but he popped up, and then all these other motherfuckers started popping up.
I feel you.
Necro says, what happened to Moray? He was fired. He kind of fell off the map. I know he been putting music out, but he ain't have nothing like Quicksand, man. But he's on Vlad now. I think it's like the third episode because Vlad chop his shit up, which I think is smart. You know what I'm saying? You give him the full interview, chop it up, get your views going or whatnot. Yeah, man, straight out of the Ville and shit. I like seeing that. He be talking about shit that I know, you know what I'm saying? He talking about being off the Merc and being in Spring Lake and shit. I'm like, well, damn, that nigga from around the way. The nerd alert. It's been a minute since I saw a flick in a theater. Last was Super Mario. Hopefully not the one from the 90s with John Leguizamo. Nerd alert. That was fucking horrible.
I actually haven't seen that. That's on my list though. I do want to watch it, but I haven't seen it.
The new Mario?
I saw the new one. I saw the new one. I like the new one, but I've heard that the other one is so bad, some people like it because it's that bad. So I'm like, I want to see it. I want to see how bad is it?
That shit is fucking horrible, man. That is a bad fucking movie. I didn't even really watch it like that when I was a kid. I would see it on HBO every now and then. I just did some shit like you look at and you like, man, I ain't fucking with that shit. That's kind of how I felt about superhero movies for a while, man. Like the Marvel universe. I didn't really watch the Marvel cinematic universe, man, until like 2014, 2013. You know, I had seen Iron Man 1. I thought it was okay, and I seen the Hulk, but I was just so disenfranchised with those franchises, man, like Fox. You know, but see, then I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a dinosaur, I'm an old head. And this is where it comes to old head versus young head. I thought all that shit was like one conglomerate. I thought the X-Men movie, I thought all these motherfuckers, because it's Marvel. But it's Marvel. I got you. But see, I didn't know Marvel. You know, I know Marvel, Fox own Marvels, but I know Marvel that start their own entity to do the movies and shit and kind of take a bunch of no-name characters and make it is what it is. But I seen that first Avengers. I might have watched Guardians of the Galaxy and then went backwards from there because it was late in the game, man. I'm like, all right. I'm like, you know what? This shit is all right here. So then from then I started fucking with all of them, and up until I don't like Endgame. I like
Infinity War.
Infinity War was my shit. Like
Infinity War was better than Endgame. Endgame was cool, but Endgame really was. It was kind of a lazy way of doing Endgame because Endgame was only really that cool because we watched all the other movies. All it was really them just rehashing all the other movies for like 90% of it. That's why I was like, that's why everybody. I don't blame everybody. Infinity War is better than Endgame.
Oh yeah, Infinity War was that shit, yo. Like Infinity War, I was liking that. Like me and she was my girlfriend then. Before we had kids, and that's what we was going. We go watch movies. We go watch Deadpool. I take her on all that shit. I take her to Second and Charles, go comic book shopping and shit like that. That shit like not no more. Them two little motherfuckers that we got, they cut all that shit off. They like, man, nigga, fuck you. You know,
they said it's our time now.
Exactly, man. But Infinity War was the shit, man. The best part about it is at the end, after Thanos caused all that havoc, you see that nigga on that planet, like that beach planet, and he had on like some basketball shorts and shit. And then that nigga went to go chill.
I rest on a thankful universe. I was like, bruh, here we go. It was I grew up like watching all of them because I was like a nerd, you know, a hardcore nerd. Like I didn't buy comic books. I didn't have the money to, but I would read comic books like crazy. And my mom was like kind of like she was a movie theater person too. So I would go and see like legit from the first, whether it be Iron Man or the Hulk. I saw legit like every single Marvel movie from the first one up until Endgame. I only missed out on 2. I didn't see the first Doctor Strange movie, and that was honestly just because I didn't really know who Doctor Strange was, and I didn't really care to figure out. I do regret that. I do wish I did see that one in the theaters.
I didn't care either, and I'm older than you. They took a bunch of motherfuckers that nobody cared about, like in the 90s. And you got cats that's older than me and some people that's niche, but look, Captain America, them motherfuckers wasn't popping like that. You know what I'm saying? It was X-Men. Like all them old motherfuckers, like Spider-Man was still doing this thing, but Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, even Black Panther. I know Chadwick made that nigga like that nigga, but he wasn't. Yeah, I wouldn't check for no Black Panther and shit, you know what I'm saying? But they did a great job, man. They did a phenomenal job to where now that a pretty decent movie, the diehard fans will rank it as subpar. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of movies kind of got flack and shit, like they wasn't good. And I was like, you know what, man, that shit was actually decent, man. Niggas shitted on that shit.
Yeah, because honestly, especially nowadays, after everything after Endgame, a lot of fans that was like the jump off point. They were like, all right, well, they did it. They did their grand magnum opus. It's really just going to be kind of downhill from there. And that's only because it's like, you know, you can't constantly go straight up. At first, at some point, you're going to have to hit that dip in order to restart that hype to go back up again. And it's like, even though I like as a diehard fan, I like a lot of the stuff that they're doing. After Endgame, I'm not that hyped for that much. Like I was hyped for a Captain America, and I'm hyped for Deadpool, and then I'm hyped for the Fantastic Four. But everything between that wasn't that what I didn't mention. I didn't care for. Like I didn't care about the Marvels. I'm the Fantastic Four. I'm even like a little iffy on because me personally, I care about the Thing and I care about the Human Torch. But Reed Richards, the Invisible Woman, I'm like, and I'm seeing it though, regardless, because my squad, we go. It's a movie thing. We go in packs, so it's like, yo, like if they want to go see it, I'm like, all right. I'll go see it with y'all. I'm not doing that with every movie, but I'm like, all right, this one, that's like, all right, cool. Let's see what they got.
You still young enough to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? You still young enough for a pack of motherfuckers want to go somewhere. All right, man, I roll. I'm old enough. Like, man, we finna go here. I'm like, all right, well, y'all be good. Let me know how it was. You know what I'm saying? I'll be in the house. Like, nigga, I don't come out after certain times and shit. I was out after 10 o'clock the other night. My fucking alternator went out a week ago. And I was out on the west side of town, and I'm like, hey, look, man, I felt like an old man. I was like, look, a lot of shit be going on at night, man. I'm ready to get the hell up out of here.
Trust me, fam. That's why I say I'm an old soul in a young body, because I'm the same way. My friends know 10 o'clock for me. I say after 10 o'clock, the credits for the day are rolling. I was like, if I'm not already where I'm going, or if I'm not on my way there by 10 o'clock, I'm not going. I'm just staying home. Because I'm like, that was my bedtime. I was like, it made perfect sense for me. It's like, no, I might not go to sleep at 10, but I'm not going out. It's like, nope, I'm good. Catch me next time, fam.
You better than me, because boy, I was still out there in my late 20s, early 30s. 10 o'clock, what? It's time to fucking party.
I was like, nah, I'll be up. Trust me, my homeboys, they could text me. They be like, yo, hop on the game. I don't sleep until like 1, 2 in the morning, but I'm not going out. Nope. I'm like, nope, I'm good.
And that's good, man. Look, ain't nothing open after 10, 12 o'clock but some legs.
Exactly.
Jailhouse.
Exactly. And I'm taking, so I'm good. I'm like, nope, I ain't getting in trouble with my lady. I'm good.
Let me answer a few more of these comments. Aaron Toy Enhancer says that Xandar bike was badass. Yeah, I got it right here, man. You know, got it right here with my little craft paint and all. Man, hey, I appreciate everybody, man, who commented on it, man. I appreciate it. But I had one guy who kind of pissed me the fuck off earlier and shit. And I don't mind taking criticism, but I think a lot of times on the internet, man, people need to learn how to talk to people, man. You know, they just come up with some shitty ass comments and shit. I'm like, all right, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, just try to kill my joy.
Bro, people will just take whatever steam that they got and negativity and just throw it at you because they don't gotta have a face. There's no face to face connection or anything like that, and they know, like, just like Mike Tyson said, he was like, the fact that you could say stuff online made people forget what it's like to get punched in the face. It's like, so they just they don't have no qualms saying the most negative stuff, just trying to ruin your day. I look at some people, I just think of them as energy vampires. Like, there's legit people out there in the world that will do nothing. They're like, I don't have any friends. I don't have any family. No one cares about me. So they just have fake accounts just to spread negativity. And once they get you in that loop of fighting back and forth with them, they're like, yes, all this negativity. It's like it's their way of siphoning energy to the point where their cup is full.
Yeah, man. People like this internet is a wild place. But you know what, man? I got to get back to my old shit. Lately, I've been coming to old, man. I've been getting cranky and shit, and I actually be answering people and shit on that. Like, I was good on giving a like and a heart and just passing on, but now I'm like, I can't let that shit slide. You know what I'm saying? So I got to get off my old man shit and get back to just letting that shit slide, man. Because I'm like, I got to look at it, man. I'm not necessarily a public entity, man, but I'm like McDonald's, man. I'm serving 1 billion motherfuckers, man. I got a bunch of motherfuckers coming through the drive-through, man, and it's just me. You know what I'm saying? They don't know. I'm dealing with a whole bunch of different emotions, attitudes, and people and shit, man. I got to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Because the next order coming up. You know what I'm saying? So
I hear you. Just remember, every now and again, remember my quote, my motto of the day: crash out if you need to, bro. Don't let them play with you. Show them who you are. Crash out if you need to. You gotta sometimes, just like Kendrick said, sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
Well, you know what, man? At the end of the day, man, like me, I'm a person who will stand up for myself. But if I got that get out of jail free card, it's the go to jail card. It's gonna be for a good one, goddamn it. So I might as well just conserve my energy, you know what I'm saying, and save it for maybe I had to hold my family down or something. Some nigga coming through on some crazy shit, and I got to really pop out. So I ain't fuck the talking. It's over. You know what I'm saying? So,
I hear you.
But yeah, man. Man, look, I gotta let that shit fly. Let me answer a few questions. Gonzo, what's going on with you, family? Killer King says, I got a dragonfly at Toy Hio 2 weekends ago, and why did anyone say it's as big as a baby shark? It is. Feels like holding an AK-47 when I move the thing. Yeah, it's definitely huge. Infinity Toys, what up, Sab? What up, Swiftshot? What up, Infinity, man? Keep pounding over there, man. Tony says, anybody wants a good laugh after the stream, check out the 1993 trailer for Super Mario Brothers. Laughing out loud. Yeah, that's a link, Swiftshot, you might want to check out there. Because it came out in 93. Yeah. Crazy. But you know what? It had the perfect people. I forgot who the dude who played Mario. He looked like, he could be Mario, and then John Leguizamo as Luigi. I mean, that was dope. You know what I'm saying? That's a talented motherfucker. But just the whole movie, it was just on some 90s shit. Like, we got the license for the names, but we gonna do a whole different movie. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make a movie. We want to make
go a completely different direction.
Correct, yo. Like, not sticking to the script. And that's one thing I can at least say about the MCU. It'll stick to the script. It's just the plot good enough. You know what I'm saying? Because we was getting some shitty shit. Like, and like I said, I got onto the MCU late in the game because I'm going to these movies ever since like Blade. Blade was a fucking awesome and going in late 90s. Like, seeing Wesley get down like that, and then it was on some Marvel shit. But I'm trying to work with X-Men for fucking 10, 12 years, goddamn it, and it just ain't giving me what I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm done, man.
I will say X-Men is confusing because they change up the timeline so much. Because I'm with you. I was like, I love X-Men, but at the same time, there's times, like, I've seen all the X-Men movies, and there's times I'm like, so how does this fit into the timeline? Like, I feel like that meme with the dude with the yarn. It's like, all right, this happened, and it connects to this. Like, it is a little confusing. I will say that. I was like, it's cool because it does go with the comics, but it's one of those situations where there are so many comic book stories with different timelines or different worlds that it's like that's why it's so damn difficult to keep up.
Not giving a fuck. Cash cow. And what it was is you got the original X-Men movies that started in 2000 all the way up to about 2008, and then they want to do a Wolverine origin story, which doesn't line up with the X-Men. But then you want to do X-Men First Class, which don't line up with Wolverine or the fucking original movies. First Class had a cameo from Wolverine, but it really didn't, just from the way it was set up and shit, like it just wasn't matching up regardless, man. And it's just it was just cashing in, and not really giving a fuck about their timeline.
They're like soft reboots. It's like, First Class is like, reboot it. And then it's like, because they did the original 3 X-Men, and then they did like First Class, reboot. Then they did more after that, and then they did Days of Futures Past, which is another reboot. It's like, it's complicated to keep up with. Yeah,
and be honest with you, even the First Class, it don't stick to the comic book, because that's not the fucking First Class from the 60s. We talking about the original ones with Cyclops, Beast, Jean Grey, and Angel, and Iceman. Different motherfuckers. I only think not one of them. No, Cyclops was in that, I believe, but it just wasn't matching up, man. It was really just a huge cash grab clusterfuck.
Yeah,
to be quite honest with you. DJ Hell, they talking about, there was another, and I'm glad I'm reading this comment. DJ Hellhammer says there are uncut versions of the Dolph Punisher that have a few jaw-dropping amount of gore that was trimmed from theatrical release. And Dolph Lundgren, he had a Punisher movie back in the day and shit, man. But I just finished watching the 2 seasons of the Netflix Punisher. I never watched that, on Netflix. I watched Luke Cage and I watched Jessica Jones. But I never watched Daredevil, Iron Fist, or Punisher. And that Punisher was straight. I liked him. It was kind of slow at times, kind of dragging out. I kind of wish they would have did Jigsaw a little bit better. In that, have you ever watched that show?
Even though I'm like a Marvel fan, I don't watch any of the shows. I feel like once they started doing the shows, I felt like it got too nerdy. It felt like a little bit too much homework. That's like, because they started doing things where in the movie, you wouldn't know what characters existed unless you watched the show. So like all of them, WandaVision, Daredevil, She-Hulk. I know of the shows, and I know about certain things that happen in the shows, but I don't actually sit down and watch the shows myself.
This show right here is actually, it's about to be a part of the Disney Plus shows. But these shows were some Netflix shows that had gore, had motherfuckers get your brains blown out, that type of shit. Cursing, fucking, titties. You know what I'm saying? It had pretty much all of that. But I doubt that they're probably going to tone some of that down being on Disney Plus, but they're going to kind of keep it gory. But this Punisher show, the Daredevil, Luke Cage, all that was set. They making it part of the Disney Plus timeline, but it was set all before that. These shows came out in like 2015, 16. Some shit like that, but they're showing it on Disney Plus now. So I was like, you know what? I binge watched that Punisher for like 2 days and watched 2 seasons. And that was a cool thing about Netflix. They'll give you your 13 episodes and you can just watch them when the fuck ever.
Yeah, they drop it all at once.
Yeah. They got a new Spider-Man cartoon on Disney Plus that I've been checking out. It's actually been getting better and better every time I watch it. Let me see what it says. Herb says this was a funny one. Endgame was whack to me because they never let Hulk get his lick back. Yeah, he went out like a sucker.
Yo, can we talk about that for a minute? I was so pissed about that. Hulk has literally never retained damage. So, and also, anytime he's gotten his ass whooped, he's never been scared. He's always just gotten more pissed off that he can't whoop that person's ass. So the fact that he got pieced up by Thanos and didn't want to come back out, I was like, okay, that's pretty bitch made, but fine. Let's give him the benefit of doubt. Maybe they're holding out for like later. They want Bruce Banner to reconcile with the Hulk, and like then they'll come together and be a cool Banner Hulk. Bro, once he did the snap and his arm was in a sling, I was like, whoa, when does the Hulk retain damage? I was like, since when I don't care if they're like, oh, it was a snap of the universe. So they're like, oh, it's gamma radiation. I was like, if anything, the gamma radiation should have made him stronger because he's just gonna absorb the gamma radiation. It made literally no sense. I will say, like, at a point, they started like there were certain things that didn't make sense in the Marvel movies. Like, just like I had a problem that I still to this day feel like nobody talked about. But in Captain America Civil War, Tony gets mad at Captain America because he's like, oh, Cap, you knew that Bucky killed my parents and you didn't say anything. And Cap was like, yeah, I knew. I'm like, there's no point in any of the Marvel movies where Captain America is aware that Bucky killed Stark's parents. Like, you could maybe assume that, but that's a huge leap in logic. So I was like, I don't understand why Cap was like, yeah, I knew. What do you mean you knew? When did you find out? Because you didn't even know that Bucky was still around until the second movie. And then even when you found out, right? I was like, and even when you found out he was around, why would you hide that from Stark? Let him know.
Yeah, I think there was some plot holes and twists, and I think they did some change up because they rearranged those last two movies. It was supposed to be something different. I think it was supposed to be Infinity War 1 and 2, but they kind of condensed that one into Infinity War and then put Endgame, man. So I think that was the end of downfall because somebody like the Incredible Hulk, he doesn't just get his arm broke. That motherfucker gets madder and madder. Like, usually when they take care of the Hulk, they throw him off the fucking planet. You know what I'm saying? They figure out a way to kick him off. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just gonna be too much collateral damage and shit. So I think that was the point right there. He had he was becoming too much of a smart Hulk, with feelings and shit, and he was scared. I'm like,
and that's another thing. Why is Bruce Banner Hulk ashamed of being the Hulk? I was like, you would think a person that's as smart as Bruce Banner realizes the value in being the Hulk.
He always was. He never really, just true to the character, never really embraced the Hulk. But of course, they know when in those stories when they was writing them, like, motherfuckers want to see the Hulk. Like, he's the secondary character, and that's what it is. The secondary character had became the main character. When really the main character is the Hulk. That's what the fuck we want to see. We want to see him get busy. That's why anytime you ever got to get rid of the Hulk, like the reader reading the comic book, he's not going to take that. He has his arm in a fucking sling. No, this motherfucker they put this motherfucker in a rocket ship. They send his ass out. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just a whole nother ball game. And he can get madder and madder. When the fuck have you ever heard of the Hulk dying? Besides, this is before your time in the Incredible Hulk movie. But guess what? He died when he turned back into Banner. In the Incredible Hulk movie, the TV show, he had fell out of a helicopter and then he turned back into Bruce Banner and hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? He died. But, once again, Banner fucking up the party.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like, fam, come on now. This is the Hulk we're talking about. Like, I really don't understand why. Like, the Hulk and Thor character assassinated. Like, if you look at from their first movies to what they are now, it's like calling them a husk of themselves is like, it's disrespectful to the word husk. It's crazy how they just destroyed Hulk and Thor, which was crazy because they were originally my two favorites. Like, I liked Iron Man. I didn't really care for Cap at first, but Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor, I was like, oh, those are the dudes. I really like them. Hulk and Thor, brutally character assassination. And Stark now being gone, it's like, I wish that Rhodey would be the new Iron Man, but they character assassinated Rhodey in the Secret Invasion show. Did you see that?
Man, it was just too slow for me. To be honest with you, I was trying to watch it, but it was too slow. I haven't really watched any of those Disney Plus shows per se, besides I might catch some shit for this, but I watched all of She-Hulk. Hey, that bitch was fine as hell though, man. When she turned to that She-Hulk, I don't know what fuck everybody was tripping off of. I was like, damn, that was a big fine motherfucker.
She was fine, and I didn't like that because they did the whole because in the comic books, She-Hulk was super fine. I was like, so I didn't like that. It was really just the show itself. It was like it wasn't. She's a lawyer, but you didn't get lawyer. Like, you've seen Better Call Saul.
I've heard it before, but I never watched it.
it's a great lawyer show. And as a person that like likes a little bit of lawyer stuff, there was like no lawyering in the lawyer show. And the show was literally called She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I should be expecting half a lawyer show, half a superhero show. You got like 5% a lawyer show. You got maybe like 10 to 15% of a hero show. And then everything that was left was basically just Sex in the City, which is like, like when you stop and think about it, most episodes revolved around She-Hulk trying to get a dude while also talking shit about dudes. Right, exactly. And then she was mad at it. I remember she was mad at a dude because he only liked her as She-Hulk, not as her regular self. I was like, this is the same bullshit of the whole X-Men being like, nobody wants to date Mystique because she's blue. And I was like, what type of dumbass logic is this? It's like,
yeah, and you're right, the plots on it wasn't bad, but it definitely could have been a lot better plots on that. You know what I'm saying? Better writing, and I think that's where kind of Marvel is kind of finding themselves like, what do we write about? You know what I'm saying? So I think they need to work on that a little bit more on those shows because they're just a little too boring, and they just don't have enough. You know, and then plus it being a TV show, you're not gonna have that same budget as you have for a movie. But let me read my man Paul's comment right quick. He says, I saw this dude on YouTube leaking pics of the Marvel Legends MCU, Mr. Fantastic and Human Torch, Johnny Storm figures. I hope they are real. Reed Richard has stretchy parts. Paul, what's good with you? I see your message early, but I was just going down on the scroll. And I see you got your smokes and your lokes. It's about time for them to do a Reed Richards with stretchy parts. They have been selling us short on that shit. The last Reed Richards with stretchy parts I think was a Walgreens exclusive, but they don't even sell the figures at Walgreens no more. So I hope so. But being that movie's coming out, I'm pretty sure that's real and those figures are already made. Because I seen this dude named Jeremy Kimberly. He be in a lot of the G.I. Joe Facebook groups. He had a video up 12 days ago. But he don't have a lot of subscribers, so it didn't really come in. But this motherfucker already got CoverGirl. I'm like, how the fuck he get her? I'm like, damn, yo. So them shits be ready to go, and people have access to them, man. Legend Series says, do you think it's true that Reed Richards won't have stretchy powers in the new film? I thought I seen a clip of him with stretchy powers, man. And you know what? I'm gonna do a little something right here. I'm gonna pull that up in a little bit. I think we'll watch a little clip of that a little bit later on.
I honestly feel like they're gonna, it could be cool. I think what they could do for the Fantastic Four is they're gonna have Reed Richards. It's gonna be like one of those situations where he's gonna end up kind of becoming like a mad scientist type thing, where he ends up being the plot twist bad guy, or not necessarily all good. Not in the first movie, but in the second movie, he ends up trying to be like, kind of like how Stark wanted to, protect the world by putting iron suit around it. But, they had like Bruce and the rest of the Avengers to kind of tell Stark like, yo, that's a very cold world. I feel like they could have Reed end up going evil. And then maybe the Thing, I know it's gonna suck, but the Thing might end up like sacrificing himself trying to save the world or something like that. And then they could potentially bring She-Hulk from the show into the Fantastic Four, because all of them are in New York. And then also Peter Parker, Spider-Man, could also join the Fantastic Four. So it's 4 of them again, because in the comics, there is a team when Spider-Man and She-Hulk was on the Fantastic Four, and they're all in New York.
Yeah, they're in a different timeline though in this one. I think they're actually in the 60s, but people are saying they're in a different
world. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I don't know how that's going, because I'm about tired of this time warping shit. I'm not into it in the comic books. You know what I'm saying? I don't like time warps, and I'm like, all right, man. But I like that though, that they're in the 60s.
I think the reason they're doing the whole different world thing, because at the end of, I know nobody saw it because the movie did terrible, but at the end of the Marvels, one of the characters from that movie ended up in a different world where the X-Men was. I'm predicting that the Fantastic Four movie is going to take place in that same world or same universe.
I seen that. And that shit was dope too, because they had Beast in there working on old girl, binary and shit. Yeah, I seen that. I seen that joint.
You know, I'm glad that you said her name, because you know they never say her name in the actual movie.
Probably couldn't. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, I was like, what? I was like, so we never get her name. So it's like, what's her superhero name? We got the other two's names, but we never got hers.
He says, Legend Safe say, do you think Reed becomes the Beyonder to set up Secret Wars? I don't know. I just can't see Reed becoming he's a part of the Illuminati, so I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go and pretty much lead into I see there's a female Silver Surfer, and I was looking at comments and motherfuckers like, oh, this woke shit. And then people will correct them like, no, there's actually a female Silver Surfer. I forgot her name, but I think it was like his wife or some shit. But she ended up getting killed, and he takes on the mantle. Which, at the end of the day, as far as Silver Surfer, I don't care. It's a silver motherfucker riding around with, you know, he's naked with no dick. You know what I'm saying? So does it matter? You know what I'm saying? So like motherfuckers getting tripping and shit. You know, everybody loves that's woke, motherfucking. They come on, man. But it looks good to me. It looks really good, man. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up right quick. Let me do a share screen. Fantastic Four trailer. Let's share that. And let's hit it.
Think your taxes are simple? You could file for free with H&R Block. More people qualify for H&R Block free online than
You mortals do not understand the magnitude of what approaches.
Before everything changed.
Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock. And Johnny never caught fire.
Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
The Fantastic Four. I have seen worlds fall to him. I have seen civilizations erased. There's nothing you can do to stop him. Unless you find a gateway.
A gateway to where?
To another timeline.
Galactus is no mere force of nature. He is an inevitability. Yet even inevitability can be controlled. And you know that better than anyone, my good friend.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one. I think that is that a newer trailer?
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, that's one that just kind of came out. But yeah, that one looks pretty good. I like it. I like the way it looks. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a huge Fantastic Four guy. Like that looked to me better than the one that came out in 2005. That one that came out with my man Michael B. Jordan as a thing. My brother was going. I like, why y'all want to go see that? Like, what is wrong with that? That shit looks garbage. You know what I'm saying? But they went to go see it and waste their money on that. But that is the first live action Fantastic Four that I've looked at and like, yeah, that shit looked kind of fire.
I wanted to see the one with Michael B. Jordan. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go see more. I never did. I was like, damn. I was like, I'm not gonna see that. But I will say that trailer does look good. Like that one, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of hyped, especially because they did say, okay, you got to find a gateway to another timeline. So I was like, oh, all right, bet. Yeah. And that's how they gonna loop it into the other universe type thing. I do feel like though, them bringing Galactus this early, I feel like might be a mistake, but who knows? They might be doing it where it's like, okay, we know of Galactus, just like how we knew of Thanos for a while, but we didn't actually see or fight Thanos for a while. They might be doing it like that. I just hope they can pull it off, really.
Yeah, it looks like they could do it here. I think Thing looks okay. He looks a little bit too CGI to me a little bit because I kind of like the live, but you know, the one from 05, that was kind of like too fucking Jim Henson looking and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like fucking Ninja Turtles. So I don't know. But I like the way he looks. I can deal with that. Of course, Torch. I like the way Reed Richards look. I like the way Sue Storm looks because like that Jessica Alba shit, man, like back in the day from 05, like nah, man, come on now. But I like the way all of them look. I like the plot of it. I like it in the 1960s because I don't know what it is, but every time I think of Fantastic Four, I think of the 1960s. You know what I'm saying? Like truly straight up and down, just in my head canon because I grew up in the 90s. And even though they were in the comic books in the 90s, but they wasn't hitting like that. You think of them by some old timey shit, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm gonna give it a go, man. I like it. I might even go to theater and check it out, man. So I think
support your local theater. And I will say about that theater thing, I do agree with you. They do need to upgrade their theaters because the theaters I go to, like the theater around me, it's like a basic theater. Like, but I feel like somebody heard me recently complain about we just now this year or last year just got like those special popcorn buckets because before then we didn't get no popcorn buckets. But there were like AMC theaters, other places that got cool popcorn buckets. And then when I go, like my girlfriend, she's out of state, but like when I go to see my girlfriend, I go to the movie theater. Bro, you can legit, like, you sit down, it's like a reclining seat that you can, like, push a button on. Then it has, like, a swing table that has a QR code that you could scan the QR code. It opens up a menu, and you can push a button, and one of the employees will come to you, take your order. You can order hot food. You can order alcohol there, and they'll bring it to you throughout the movie. I'm like, what is this? That's my favorite thing to do every time I go see her.
We gotta if not we gotta because I'm in a kind of like a middle city, like it's like 500,000 people. It's not huge, but it's not small. So we may have like 2 of those here. But that's the new norm that I've seen. But that before I stopped going to the movie theaters, they kind of started implementing them back in 2020 where you can recline back. There's not as many seats in there. You know, they give you bigger seats, you can recline back, and it's just not these like little small seats like you had a stadium and shit. And I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? That is A1 thou wow with me. And that's the better experience. And that's what they need to go to. Cause like I say, we in the space age, man. I could watch this shit at the house, really. And if it ain't on the one of them apps, I'll steal that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Got that fire stick.
What you gonna accommodate me or you gonna make me you know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
But let me read some of these comments, man. Sadaldo, hey, peace, brother. Harvey, yeah, man. Catch me later, man. I always appreciate you coming through, man. Nerd Alert says I'm a sucker for the surfer, but it's the female version. Still interesting. Also, Galactus is looking awesome. Yes. There was somebody comment I wanted to read. Oh, Paul had me laughing. Says Thing looks weak in that sweater. He did have like a turtleneck sweater on and shit. But I'm feeling that because it's on some 1960s shit. You know what I'm saying? They're not rocking gear or some high-tech shit like we got. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers is rocking a sweater. I'm surprised he ain't got a collar shirt on up under that motherfucker. You know, it's the 60s. Still wearing hats and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Stetson hats and shit like that, man. But when you sit up and look at it like, yo, is that nigga just running full sprint with a sweater on?
About to sweat bricks.
He was too. That motherfucker had a full stride with a sweater on and shit. Shit was crazy. Okay, they talking amongst each other, man. But we've almost about to the top of the hour, man. That's what I want to talk about. Last thing before we get into you, Swiftshot. What and in the chat also, man, what y'all thinking about that Maximum Spider-Man? I know all the people who usually run and pass the baton on that shit has already got it going. Me, I'm just going and jump it off. Personally, I don't care either way. I think it's overpriced, but there's a lot more shit out there that's a lot higher. At my standpoint, for me to fuck with it, I would like to see it at $35, $40 because I think that's what it's worth. I think they put product out at $35, $40 before with that amount of shit. And Swiftshot, what you think? What you think on that, man?
I agree. I think it's overpriced. I think like they have put out product. Like I think you talked about it was in one of your I think it was Odin. I'm pretty like how much was Odin? And
Yeah,
Odin came with a lot more, I feel like.
correct. Odin was up there though, but I ended up paying. But I Odin was 60. I ended up paying 50 for him because that's the price they had to drop it down to because nobody was fucking with it for 60. But he's a lot bigger figure. He's got everything. He's got soft goods, multiple heads, multiple hands. He's got everything that an old Marvel Legends would have, which this figure has 3 different head sculpts, has different hands. But I mean, we talking about plastic for plastic. Odin's like 4 Spider-Mans. That's a big
Exactly,
bro.
That's my thing. That's like
he's huge.
They're
He's like
really
12 inches tall.
They're charging
12,
it.
he's like 10. He's like 10 or 9 inches.
It's because of the webs. They're really just like, oh, it's Spider-Man and it's the webs. That's why they're like, oh, well, let's put it at 50. I really do feel like this is one of those situations where it's like they kind of testing the waters. They're like, well, let's set it at 50 and see if if everybody buys it and stuff like that. And then also I want to say, don't people in the chat, don't fall for the whole tactics of, I don't know if y'all buy it online, the Hasbro Pulse website or the Hasbro Pulse app. I swear they will say something is sold out when it's not actually sold out just to cause that FOMO, that fear of missing out. I swear, bro, because I stopped buying Hasbro stuff because I had a problem with I started buying from other Japanese companies where they actually give you butterfly joints or toe articulation and then multiple hands and stuff like that at a high quality. And yeah, sure, it's a little more pricey, but they earn that price because they give me all that extra articulation and all that extra stuff. But when I was shopping Hasbro stuff, I would constantly be like, oh, let me check today. Let me check today. Let me check the next day. I was constantly checking. And there's certain things that were sold out. I was like, oh, damn. I didn't think I wanted that shit, but I might want it now. And then it's like, oh, it's not sold out again. I was like, all right, cool. And then I noticed that would constantly happen. There's a 2-pack of blue, what is it, Fantastic Four, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. That thing has been sold out 5 separate times. You can go on the website right now and it's there, no problem.
So it's you said Hasbro got niggas sniffing Spider-Mans and shit?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yes.
What the fuck is Spider-Man at?
Bro, people, they will Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Captain America. People will just buy multiple versions of it. And I'm not necessarily knocking having multiple versions of a figure, but demand more. I will at least say with the Spider-Mans, they will give them toe articulation and butterfly joints. But freaking Iron Man and Captain America, they will die before they give them butterfly joints or toe articulation. And it's bro, it's not that big of a deal. And it's once you do that, then you can demand a little bit higher of a price. I was but they asking for high prices. And it's bro, it's the same thing. It's I get it. It might be a little pricier to upgrade the mold, but it's bro, sometimes I feel they go out of their way not to upgrade the mold. With the newest, the Red Hulk that came out. I made a video about this on Instagram. The Red Hulk came out and he doesn't have any butterfly joints. And I was I don't understand why you wouldn't do that.
Target.
Right, and my thing is, I don't understand why you wouldn't give the new Red Hulk butterfly joints when Scar, the son of Hulk, that came out months ago, he has butterfly joints.
Oh, he does?
Yes, he has great butterfly joints. I
was interested in him, but I didn't know he had butterfly joints. But I seen, which I have. I'm satisfied with the Red Hulks I got. I'm actually satisfied with with my Diamond Select Red Hulk. He's huge. You know what I'm saying? He was only $30 too. And he has the same articulation as the Marvel Legends ones because they're made by sculpted by the same people, Gentle Giant. And they give you a bigger one. And it's just a lot better, man. But I looked at that Red Hulk in Target because I brought a 60th anniversary Halo jumper. And I looked and I just seen that big red chest. And I'm like, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad looking figure, but I'm hulked out on that body. You feel what I'm saying? Because I have a collection of Hulks. I actually have about 15 Hulks. You know what I'm saying? In different iterations, whether it's Diamond Select or the Hasbro ones, which is really truly the same fucking action figure because it's getting built by the same company who builds both of them, man. But and the crazy thing about it is I'm not the one to be on the parade or the crusade on horseback. Like, fuck you, Hasbro. I just say, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not buying that shit. And that's it. That's gonna handle them. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. You know what I'm saying? But you got people out there who will grab it, and more power to them, because at the end of the day, you gotta almost kind of question Mayfax, because CT Toys is pumping out they shit for $20 and free shipping. I got a motherfucking web man coming. I can't wait till that nigga get here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they move just as they might have a small defect, but shit, I've heard Mayfax having defects too. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Mayfax guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not all in on all Mayfax, but there's certain figures that I get from Mayfax. Like right now, I'm looking at my Superman collection, my Reign of Superman. I'm definitely on that, and my Batmans. Probably one, because there isn't a void. I mean, there's a void that they fill, because there's really not anybody pumping out no 1/12 scale DC figures. So they got it, you know what I'm saying, right now as far as that. But I will say this for Hasbro, they can do it and make that cheaper. Why? I don't fucking know. Because like I said, I feel like I received something with that amount of shit in it at their regular price, or maybe at $30, man. So yeah, I think $40 would have been good for that Spider-Man. They really could have got a lot more people on board, but it's sold out. It's sold out, in certain places. So who knows? Right.
I'll say that's the thing. It's sold out, but I guarantee you, give it like a month or two. They're gonna have a bunch more, and it's gonna be one of those figures that never goes on sale because it's the name. It's just like how Nike, or just like how Nintendo, like they'll drop a video game, the video game be 6-10 years old, and it's still the same price as if it's brand new. It's just because certain characters, they're like, well, that name is worth it. Like you're like Wolverine. You'll rarely see a Wolverine be like, all right, this is going to go on sale. They'll have it sell out, and then they'll be like, all right, people want it a little bit more. Then they'll put it out there again. But it's like, bro, like just butterfly joint. Butterfly, and the thing is, I know it might sound like a small thing, but that little small articulation goes a long way. Especially when you're doing like stuff like what we do with the whole posing, the taking the pictures, the stop motion. I can understand it.
Goes a long way. A double ball neck goes a really fucking long way, just because sometimes you need that slightest move to look like how my neck bends like that. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got that down at the bottom, and then plus a neck hinge, man. But yeah, I mean, but I'm gonna read some of these comments in the chat, but from what I've seen, it moves. It looked like it moves like a Mayfax Spider-Man, because a Mayfax Spider-Man can. I'm looking at it one now. It can do it all. For most part, the crotch when he's down like that, looking up, pokes on top of a
that perch and everything.
Yeah, you gotta have that for Spider-Man, and most of not unless you do some alteration to it to yourself. Most Spider-Man from Hasbro can't do that. Legend Series says Hulk is supposed to be the second Maximum series. I heard, and that one is going to have the butterfly joints. If Spider-Man is 50, you said, I heard that one's going to have butterfly joints, and if Spider-Man is 50, that Hulk will be 100. That's retarded, yo. I just can't see myself paying $100 for a Hulk. He better be able to do a gamma, slap, because that's what everybody wants. That's what the fucking butterfly joints is for. You know what I'm saying? So, yep. Other than that, I mean, the Hulks I got move pretty decent. I might just have to hold off on that. But I like the way Hasbro make their figures. I think Hasbro makes their figures proportion wise, especially now, better than Mayfax. Sometimes Mayfax be a little too slim. You know what I'm saying? Like Captain America, so even that Daredevil. Everybody like that Daredevil from Mayfax, but I actually like the Marvel Legends one. He's got a little bit more build to him, because he's slim. But he's not, his legs, he skipped leg day and shit.
Yeah, for you.
Let me see. Nerd Alert says CT worth it. Yes, my man. CT is definitely worth it. It's the same. You're getting the same joint. $20, no shipping, free shipping. So you're gonna pay your little tax. It's gonna be like $22, and you're gonna get you basically a Mayfax figure. That brown suit Wolverine I got. I don't even care if Mayfax drop it again or not. They played with me for so long. They played for like 3 years. I definitely would have brought one, but I got that CT joint for like $18. I'm good, because that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a really nice articulated Wolverine. They paint still the same as Mayfax. It's got the nice silver paint on it. It's not this dull gray plastic looking shit. Claws got the nice bow on them. I mean, it's basically a Mayfax figure, fam. It says, let me see right here. It says if Mayfax stops, CT won't be producing that style of figures. Yeah, you want to know why? Because it's the same niggas. You know what I'm saying? It's the same motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? They just taking their work home and shit. You know what I'm saying? And putting it out there. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast over in Asia or wherever they making that shit at. You know, that's why I don't even not like. Sometimes I haven't brought that in a minute, but I'll buy some knockoff kicks and shit. I bought some Yeezys, which I just threw away. Like, I'm not paying that nigga Kanye $500 for them socks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I paid like $30 for some Yeezy. Them shits lasted 4 or 5 fucking years. I just threw them away the other day. You know what I'm saying? Same niggas. That's their work. You know what I'm saying? They just took it home and shipped it instead of shipping it from the factory. That $30 go that $30 go a long way.
Facts.
He said Mayfax and CTS, same company, double dipping. DJ Mr. McFly says that's like Dow Tone sold out on Pulse. Don't forget they have an Amazon and eBay store to overprice their own product. Yeah. You gotta watch everybody because Walmart get the tripping sometimes, Amazon get the tripping. Like I go on Big Bad Toy Store, still see a Joe up there for 25. You hit Walmart site, that nigga 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, where you do that at? But I've been fucking around buying these figures for so long, man. I know to go through my different little avenues and, you know, pretty much search everywhere, even if I need to go into Canada. But I haven't did that in a long time because I'm at the point now. That's why I'm not even tripping off this Spider-Man. Like, if I get that nigga, I get him, not fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Because I got him already. I really already got him. You know what I'm saying? So we just talking about a few little articulation tweaks and what to get to a Mayfax, which I got Mayfax Spider-Mans. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I promise you, fam, he's done a restock. Like I broke the code on Hasbro. It's just like with Tyler Perry. Like Tyler Perry has a code where he'll make a play, let that play run for 6 months, then he makes a movie about that play, let that movie run for 6 months, and then he'll make another play. It's just I got the playbook on Hasbro. They will they'll make something, they'll let it sell out, quote unquote. Then they'll have the second batch go out like a month later. Then they'll be like, oh, it's sold out for like 2 months. And then they'll be like, oh, well, by popular demand, we brought it back. It's like, bro, y'all already had it. They just wanted to see how many people were really done, how much they could get on the black market for it.
I can't even knock them though. They are they got to hustle. They hustling. But you hustle a hustler. You can make you can piss off customers. I'm not a customer, nigga. I'm another hustler. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't hustle me on that shit, man. So like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You can keep it pushing. And when you got something I like, nigga, I'm gonna call you. You know what I'm saying? So I keep it on a level like that. So I don't never be so hard up on the price. Cause like I said, I think the best way is to fight with my wallet. If I'm not buying that shit, I'll let my nigga Ollie negotiate those deals.
That's a big fact.
You know what I'm saying? So and everything he can't get his hands on and shit, but like some shit, like okay, you know, I'll pick it up. You know, it's finally at Ollie's, but if not, you know, so be it. But like I said, man, it's feel like it's a figure I already got. Just far as a few little tweaks, and on my end they overpriced it, but we'll see if it goes on sale. But you know, shout out to the people because there's some people like hung up on Marvel Legends, and yo. I mean, $50 ain't the end of the world. You know, you want it, yo, go get it.
I will say I saw a comment, Jamelin Parks. They asked me if I have like a main figure collection, like a main line that I collect. I will say I started originally with Hasbro, not even necessarily Marvel Legends. I started with Transformers from Hasbro, and then I kind of moved from Transformers to Marvel Legends. And while I like them, once I learned more about action figures and like started learning about the other lines, I will say the line that I will back the most that I don't think I have the most of them, but I do most of my stop motions with now and that I rock with the most would actually be SH Figure Arts, which is like a Japanese company. I was like, I rock with them hard because the articulation.
I got a few of them.
Yeah, because and most of it is Dragon Ball. I was like, which I know you rock with. I was like, so their articulation's always on point. They always give you a bunch of different hands, a bunch of different faces. The quality is always up there. And like it's just even the packaging itself looks fire. And it feels like you're valued. Like, yeah, it's more pricey, but honestly, you get so much with it, it's worth the price, I feel like.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, but let's go ahead into your questions because we were a little bit past over the top of the hour. That was kind of one of them. We'll jump back on there, man. So, basically, Swiftshot, man. Where you from, and how old are you?
I'm 27. My birthday is in July. I was like, so I'm turning 28 this year, but I'm 27.
What day in July?
July 31st.
Oh, okay. I'm on the 11th. Okay.
You're a Cancer?
Yeah.
That's crazy because I think my uncle is the 10th, so you're one day apart from him.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I'm a Leo gang. I feel like though, even though like I'm young, I really do feel like I'm an old soul in a young body because I like old stuff. Like I also feel like that's because I was raised like, even though people are like, oh, you were born at the end of the 90s, I'm like, I still feel like I'm a 90s kid, and I rep that because for me, the difference between generations is the culture. And I swear the culture from the 90s bled into the early 2000s. I don't feel like the culture ever changed until like 2004, 2005. And I like also feel like evidence of that is the fact that reruns were still a thing. So the reruns of shows that were airing in the 90s and stuff like that bled into the early 2000s. So like I the fact that I even know what a rerun is, I really don't feel like anybody my age even really recalls what a rerun is in the first place. Like I was raised off of Tom and Jerry, Hey Arnold. Like,
wow, that was my shit. My grandfather was a big Tom and Jerry guy.
Bro, Tom and Jerry was my shit. I actually just recently started buying the DVD collection because I wanted to make sure I had it myself. Like I still buy DVDs. Never gets old. Exactly. It never gets old. It's classics. I remember watching the Flintstones. I remember watching the Jetsons. Like I remember that. Like I remember Boomerang. I remember Yogi. Hey, boo boo. It's a picnic basket. Like I remember old cartoons like that, and I was raised off of that stuff. And still to this day, I'm not one of. I feel like a lot of people my age and up now demonize the past, and it really irks me because there's nothing else on like planet Earth that's living that demonizes its own growth. Like I legit will still go back. Like I said, I'll watch the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Like I'll go back and watch old movies. Like I went back and watched the RoboCop trilogy.
That's what I like about you. You different from my nephews. I be wanting to kick they fucking ass sometimes. They be trying to like why are you trying to shit on the niggas that came before you? Like what the fuck is wrong, nigga? I've seen this movie before, nigga. You ain't doing nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. That's the thing I was gonna say about the 90s. The 90s really kind of never really ended. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of got watered down. And I'll say this why, because the 70s, the 80s, no, fuck it, we'll do the 60s, 70s, and 80s were all three very different eras. And we talking about just 10 years apart from each one. Clothes, music-wise, I can wear something that I wore in 1999, like to this day, and I wouldn't be out of place looking to a certain degree. Yeah. Rather than somebody from 1975 coming in with a fucking Sherwin on and some fucking bell bottoms, and we'll talk about your boy Kendrick too. But you know, I'm like real bell bottoms, like dress pants, bell bottoms with platform shoes.
Like you ready for the disco?
Correct. Walking into 1997, you'd be like, where the fuck this nigga come from? You know what I'm saying? But the 90s is different. Like I wore shit, fatigues, blue jeans, jersey, white tee, polo shirts, collar shirts, and the style has changed up a little bit different, but not too far from that. You know what I'm saying? Even the music, you know what I'm saying? Like you talking about 60s, we talking about doo-wop, we going to 70s, we talking about soul, we going to 80s, we talking about electronica music, then we go into the 90s, which is rap, and it's still fucking rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like this shit hasn't changed in about 3 decades, even though it's not the same, it still kind of is. And that always kind of blew my mind. I'm like, yo, that shit never kind of went away. What a powerful decade. You know what I'm saying? That it still kind of carried on through other decades, man.
And they back in the day they had, because I feel like there wasn't so many distractions. I know I'm gonna sound old with this, with cell phone and the internet and stuff like that. They had the time to put in that emotion, that care, that time and love into the music. Like I watched that movie, what is it, Car Wash, and I still love that song. Hey, don't.
You ain't gonna fucking snap, did you?
Like I still rock with those old songs like that. Like but that, those are timeless classics because they put like legit love, soul, effort into it, and that's why it still makes people bop to this day. But they, like, people my age just demonize it for no reason. It irks the hell out of me.
Man, you my new nephew, man. I'm getting rid of them other niggas I got. I'm getting rid of them motherfuckers, yo. Because that's the way I was. I could always reach back in my past. And one thing though I had around me was my grandfather. He died maybe 4 years ago, but he was like 105 years old. So I had pretty much the whole 20th century with me. He was born in 1913 or some shit like that. So he had lived through all those different decades of the Great Depression, fucking World War II, World War I, you know what I'm saying? So he knew about all of those things, man. And I always was I could always gravitate towards that, man. But that's interesting that you said that, man. But we're gonna move. I'm trying to do about 3 minutes a question, man. But we'll be stuck on some of them, but I'm gonna try to keep the pace moving. Where you from?
I'm from New York. Okay. I'm from New York. Some people it's funny. In New York, I live in that area where people from, like, I don't live in the city, but I can take literally one train and I can get to the city. So I live in that area of New York where it's a famous thing where us New Yorkers, nobody can agree on what constitutes upstate New York and what constitutes downstate New York.
Upstate.
Right. So I'm not upstate. I'm downstate. But there are people, if you talk to somebody that lives in the city, they would say I'm upstate, but I'm not. I'm downstate.
I know.
So I live in that weird area.
No, man. Me and my wife be laughing about that because she was like, because my wife is from Brooklyn and shit, and she was talking about I brought up Poughkeepsie. And she was like, my mom used to always want to move there and shit.
I live near Poughkeepsie. Literally the train I'm talking about, that one train to Grand Central, the last stop is Poughkeepsie.
Oh, wow.
So I don't take the train. Like, I actually live a little bit closer to the city.
To me, that's New York. I know a difference. That's not New York City, but that's not upstate. You talking about upstate, and that's Syracuse and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I live far from Syracuse, bro.
And shit. That's because I've been to all those places, and it you can tell you're not in the city. Like I got family in Mount Vernon and shit, and even though it's not New York City, it's still connected to the city. You know what I'm saying? When you go up in there, man. So yeah, that's
there's some people though that be like, anything north of Yonkers, that's upstate. It's like, bro, no, it's not. That's like,
well, you got some New Yorkers that say the bridge and tunnel crowd is really not New Yorkers. You got to live on Manhattan Island.
Yeah.
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
That's why I live in that area where it's like everybody argues. That's why I love you. It's funny, as a New Yorker, I love that we argue about what's upstate and downstate New York.
That's funny, man. But okay. Hey, so how'd you come across my channel?
Honestly, it was one of those times where I think it was early in the year. It was like, I feel like at this point, like, it might have been like 2 years ago. Like, I sometimes I'll do a purge of my my algorithm. I'm like, you know what? I'm not really vibing with this YouTuber, like, for whatever reason. And I'll just stop watching them and I'll unsubscribe or whatever. And I'll be like, let me look at new stuff. Let me see what else I can find. And it was around the time that I had gotten back into action figure collecting myself. And I was like, I wonder if there's other people that do reviews and everything. And, you know, me being like a young black man, I was like, I want to see if there's other people like me reviewing stuff, because I wanted to collect black action figures. I was like, of course I want all action figures, but it'd be cool if I could get like black action figures and then people do reviews, because I was also nervous. Like, I'm one of those people that's really nervous about purchasing stuff, that I'm like, especially like action figures, because if I'm doing the stop motion, nothing is more defeating, I feel like, or like irking, than when I like try to like do something with my figure and it breaks. And like, even though like I get it, you can return it or you can like try to get a replacement. It's just that I like buying things and those things just work. I don't want to just buy it and then have to modify it or buy it and it breaks and I got to refund it or stuff like that. It's just like, I get that you can, but I'm just one of those people that it just makes me a little uncomfortable. So I'm the type where I was like, I'll watch a review. And then I saw you reviewing and you reviewed G.I. Joe, which is crazy because I remember seeing G.I. Joe. I'm pretty sure, I guess it was the reruns. I was like, I remember seeing G.I. Joe's when I was young. And then I found out that on Hasbro's channel, they have a 24-hour live stream of just airing G.I. Joe. So I was like, let me watch this now. And like, I was getting into it all over again. I was like, yo, and it honestly, it's so funny because like, this is the old head in me coming out because it would bring like a smile to my heart and a tear to my eye. I was like, they put good messaging in these old shows. They don't do that nowadays. Like, I remember I saw, it was like at the end of an episode, they were like, there was these two kids. They were like, I lost my dog. Can you help me find it? And the kid was blind. He was like, I'm blind. I can't. And he was like, just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't help. He was like, they ended up finding the dog. I was like, that's a good message. Don't let your disability hold you back. I was like, you can't see stuff like that nowadays. Like they had a bunch of other ones too. And I was like, that's good messaging. Like I even went back and watched some of the G1 Transformers too. And I was like, that's dope. Like I like the fact that back in the day they were like they had good solid messaging in shows, and especially I come from a military family. Like my mom, my uncle, my grandfather, my other two uncles and a cousin all were in the military. Most of them were in the Marines. Three of them were in the Marines. One of them was in the Army. One of them was in the Air Force. And I think the last one was in the Navy.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, that's what I was like, because I seen you on my Instagram for a minute. I didn't know you was this, because you said you was under your brother's account one time. Was that you?
It's not my brother. It's my personal account. So I have like a personal account, and then I made a hobby account.
Okay. And that's why I was like, and I didn't put two and two together. I was like, yo, because I've been seeing you for a minute on my Instagram. I was like, okay, that's who Swiftshot it. And I would thought you was an older guy because you had a transformer up there. So I was like, wow. When you finally told me your age, I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty interesting, man. All right, so we're gonna go. That's why I went on and jumped to the questions. Your favorite action figure line, SH Fig Arts, of course, right? Your Dragon Ball joints. Which I'll just say something real quick on that. I like those. Every now and then, like with my Captain Ginyu, I don't like that his peg comes out. Do you have Captain Ginyu?
No, I wanted to, but by the time I got there, they were like super expensive.
Yeah, them shits was a hot. I didn't even know. I bought them in 2020. And I'm glad I did. I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a line, because I was fucking retarded back then. I was just buying everything, but I'm glad I did. I was like, at least I'll get Ginyu Force, and that's kind of where I stopped at with SH. But SH is great. I will say that Captain Ginyu that's the only action figure I know that can bend over and put his head in between his ass and look like how he does that pose. And then
that pose, yep.
Yeah, I'm like, that's amazing, man. So that's a great line to actually be into. I had to fall off from it because as you see, I'm a G.I. Joe guy, and I have to catch my limits. They're a little bit too pricey. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next question. How do you feel about the Super Bowl halftime show?
Oh my gosh, my boy did it. So I watched it. I loved it. I loved it from start to finish, and he literally beat people to the punch. Like having Samuel L. Jackson be Uncle Sam was great because he of course he said the things that the haters are gonna say. Pretty much, it's funny seeing especially the white reporters talk about the halftime show, but they can't use the words that Samuel Jackson said because then it literally proves the point that Kendrick was trying to make. The whole fact that he was like, no, too loud, too rambunctious, too ghetto. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is exactly what they always say about rap music. The thing that gets me is that white people always want to be like, oh, rap music is so ghetto, so this, so that. But then when Eminem comes, they're like, see, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, bro, I hate Eminem sometimes. But the halftime show was dope. The music that he played was fire. People are like, oh, he wasn't playing hits. Bro, he literally said it in the halftime show, this is bigger than the music. Like it's not about playing the hits. It's about representing. And the messaging that he put in it, some people are like, oh, it's all nerdy. You got to figure out the message. It's not figure out the messaging. If you're educated on the messaging, then you know it. He was talking about the Black experience, the Black American game. That's why, if you notice, the halftime show, the sets were designed after a PlayStation controller. So like when he started on the Grand National, that's the square button. And then like when they were in the X, that's the X button. The triangle, of course, the triangle. And then like the circle, when they did all the stars, it's like, bro, that's fantastic. SZA, she did her thing. She did her thing as a sister. Her mic was on. I don't understand why people were arguing her mic was on.
She sounded pretty good to me, man. She sounded really great, to be quite honest with you. And because I used to be into music and writing lyrics and rapping and doing all that stuff. He did all that with no backing. You know what I'm saying? Like that backtrack and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us get out there and start lip singing on you and shit. But he had it one time, but it was just like for an intro. But the whole show, I thought was great. I really like Kendrick. As far as the new guys that's out, I think he's a perfect person. As far as the torch, I think hip hop gets misread sometimes because of what they want to put in the light, which is this drill bullshit, which is this trap bullshit, which is a bunch of niggas selling dope, which that's gonna happen. But there's like, and I will say this about the 90s, you had different groups of rappers. You just didn't have this for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you just trying to offer me this? And be honest with you, the thing is with Drake is like he'll cling to that and jump on that wave and offer you that. You know what I'm saying? If that's popping, which as you can see, a lot of rappers that Drake jumped with will be a lot of trap rappers, people like Future, you know what I'm saying? You know, who whole fucking song is about, you know what I'm saying, doing drugs. Like, hey, that's your thing. This is America. That's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And I can't be the one to, you know, point down, because once upon a time I sold shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna happen in America, but that's not my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that I like about Kendrick. He just hit you with some different shit. I seen some comments like, "Oh, I couldn't understand what he was saying," but if you don't know, if you're not into hip hop, you're not gonna understand what he's saying anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you gotta. It's like he was very clear. His diction was good. It wasn't like he was mumbling or anything. It's just some people don't want to hear what he was saying. And like the thing about Kendrick is actual, like, he's an individual. Like, he actually has his own style, his own flow. He uses his voice as an instrument itself. Versus an artist like Drake. Drake, I like to describe him as like the Kirby of hip hop, where he doesn't really have his own thing. He just hops on a song with somebody and he kind of copies that. It's like a lot, because my beef with I don't like Drake, but I don't like Drake before I found out that Kendrick didn't like Drake. I haven't liked Drake ever since the Take Care album, which I would argue was his last and only classic album. But the thing is, this is why I don't like Drake, because Drake has ghostwriters. It's not that he has ghostwriters that I don't like. It's the fact that he hides his ghostwriters and never shows them any love. And I have a problem with that, because if you make a song or you have a ghostwriter make a song for you and I like that song, that means while I do like you doing that song, I like that other person that wrote that song. And that other person deserves a credit. That other person deserves me as a fan as well. I want to support Miller. Exactly. I want to support that other person. Because the thing is, a lot of people still don't know this to this day. You can look it up. The Take Care album, 99% of that was written by The Weeknd. And that's why The Weeknd doesn't like Drake. Because The Weeknd wrote the Take Care album. That album was like one of Drake's classic albums. The Weeknd's not credited on that album.
Wow.
And the thing is, that's why ever since then, The Weeknd has not liked Drake. And all Drake does when it comes to his label is he literally signs new artists and then has them as in a sweatshop, pretty much. That's why they said the OVO sweatshop. He has young artists be hyped because they're like, oh, Sweat, it's Drake. Oh, we're gonna just be signed with him. And of course, he's my manager. He's on the label. He's of course gonna give us a feature. Surely he's gonna help promote us. No, he like siphons their skills, siphons their flow, and then after they do enough work for him, he gives them scraps of like, all right, here's a feature, and then the feature don't even be that good. Like he's been working with Party Next Door. They just
There's a lot of
made
behind the scenes shit going on with him, and that's what
Yeah.
it seemed like, because it seemed like everybody turned on that motherfucker. Which
Because Drake, bro, if you look, like I paid attention in the past to all the people that Drake did. But when I after once this whole rap beef over the past year happened, I did like a deeper dive into it. And bro, like the only way you could possibly know about everybody that Drake dissed is if you are yourself a Drake fan and you are like actually listening to what he's doing, because he was dissing so many damn people. Like I knew he dissed Rihanna. I knew he dissed Serena Williams. That's why she was at the Crip walking and at Super Bowl. I knew he dissed like Kendrick. I knew he dissed like a bunch of female artists. But bro, he's literally dissed so many people. And then Drake literally makes it a thing where he will go and try to sleep with your wife or your girlfriend or whatever. Like he literally will. He has no morals about it. And he's like, it's very sick because he's one of those dudes that like, I know that like no matter what you do, you can never take back a fuck. So he literally will try to sleep with your woman and then just ruin your relationship. He don't want a woman, he don't want him herself or nothing. He does that. That's all he wants to do. And then because women nowadays, not all of them, but some of the women in the industry just get pretty much starstruck because they're like, oh, it's Drake. It's Drake. It's Drake. But then they sleep together and then they found out Drake's a dog. He's POS. Like he doesn't care about them. He literally just wanted to hit, ruin your relationship, and then be able to hold over your head like, oh yeah, I smashed. And so then the chicks don't like Drake either.
Yeah, he sounds like a real piece of work. That's some young nigga shit on an all-time high, right there.
That right there is why everybody in hip hop and everybody in rap over the last year was like, we're not rocking with Drake. They're like, because all this happened, and then Drake want to act like, oh, I'm the man. No. He picked the right one when he tried to mess with Kendrick. I was like, yes.
He sure did, because he looks like he's about to be out of here. Let me shout out my man, BX Medic. What's up, man? I seen your comment. Your comment earlier too, man. But and then we'll move on to I'll chime in on it. He's done. He's cold as ice. To be quite honest with you, like when I look in the comments and shit on little things, where I be like looking through the internet and shit, like. He has his people that still be defending him, but motherfuckers is straight shitting on him. But it's time for him to sit on down. He had a nice little run. It's time to sit on down, man. Who better than Kendrick, man? I always liked Kendrick. I thought he got kind of weird on me at one time and shit. I was like, because I like a Good Kid, Mad City. I like Damn. To Pimp a Butterfly had a few songs on there, but then he was just trying to just start. I was like, damn, this nigga getting weird and shit. I can't stand that. When motherfuckers start like getting, seasoned and shit. But this Kendrick, and we'll move on to the next question. I'll say this. Kendrick reminds me of Nas. Nas went to sleep and then Jay-Z came after him and that nigga came back to life. You know what I'm saying? And put the fear of God in my man. So, and this kind of bleeds into the next question. Who is your favorite rapper? Because it might not be Kendrick, but for the sound like it sounds like Kendrick.
Yeah, I was like, back in the day, before that, it was kind of like 50-50 of J. Cole and Kendrick. But honestly, after the past year, it's like, yeah, definitely Kendrick. Because Kendrick, I'm one of those people that like conscious rap. I was like, so like, I don't want to hear like just mumble. First off, if you mumbling, I don't care. Because the way I think of music in general is it's auditorial art. It like literally, I look at it like the beat is the canvas, your words are the paint, and the way that you use those words are the paint strokes on what you're trying to paint. So like if you're mumbling, the painting's blurry. It's like I can't admire the painting in the first place. So I like conscious rappers that like, you can hear their diction's good, so you know what they're saying in the first place. Then on top of that, he raps about like the actual like conscious stuff, like the Black experience. He raps about what's going on in his mind, how he like might have writer's block, or what his ambitions are. Like I love To Pimp a Butterfly, because that was his whole, like, pretty much not his magnum opus, but that was like his senior album off of his first original, because it was it was Good Kid, Mad City, and then it was I look at Section 80 as the first.
Yeah, Section 80 is really his first album, but it was indie. Good Kid, Mad City, The Pimp a Butterfly, Damn. And then he kind of went ghost for a minute and then dropped this last joint. Well, he did the Black Panther album in between that.
And he also did don't forget Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like in between Damn and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was the Black Panther joint. He went ghost for like 4 years, because Damn came out in like 2017, I believe. 2016.
Well, also I think around 2018 or 19 though, there was also, he did an EP, which is not an album, but it's a extra project. It was called Untitled Unmastered, that not a lot of people ever heard of. It was like an album, of course, me being a Kendrick fan, I heard of it. It's a really good EP. It's like 8 songs. None of them actually have title names. All of them have dates of when he made the songs. And honestly, I think it's really dope. Like if you listen to it, I feel like it was like the songs that he didn't feel like were good enough to be on To Pimp a Butterfly. He like put them off to the side, thought about them, and he put them in a nice little EP. It's literally called Untitled Unmastered. The cover art is literally just like a dingy green square. It's really good. Not a lot of people talked about it. Like still to this day, I feel like not many people know about it. But that was a really good EP too. And let me
read this comment right quick. Mm-hmm. He says Cole dodging the smoke. Could never take him serious as a rapper. He's a dope human though. Here's a fun fact. I actually went to high school with J. Cole. He's in a grade lower than me. I'm from Fayetteville. And
really?
Yeah, that dude Moray, he's from Fayetteville. That's like this is a small city, but we got a lot of people that come out of this motherfucker and shit. But the thing with Cole dodging that, man, it let me down, to be quite honest with you. And it was just like, bruh, you in the major leagues, a nigga just tapped you. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta go at it. But to be honest with you, because I'll be honest, like the way he sent back that reply on Might Delete Later, it was okay. You know what I'm saying? Like Kendrick is ready for fucking war, and you slapping niggas. You need to pull a gun out, my man. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I still kind of rock with J. Cole. I'm still conflicted, because my thing is, I understand why J. Cole like dipped out of the beef, but at the same time, I'm like I don't blame Kendrick for shooting that shot, because J. Cole was pretty much trying to give Drake a pass and trying to be like, oh, let's all kumbaya. But it was like, Cole, Kendrick and Drake have had a beef for years if you paid attention. And it's like, I get it. He hasn't messed with your woman and he hasn't stole your flow, but he's done this to too many damn people. And it's like one of those situations where it was like, yo, listen, Cole, we're not trying to shoot at you, but you're not trying to get out of the car. So it's like, bro, you're going to take a shot, and hopefully this shot hurts you enough where you're like, okay, let me step out of the car. Now, thankfully, he got smart and he did step out of the car. Yeah, he did. But the thing, I don't think he's ready for that. But the thing was, it was like, bro, you need, if you didn't try to give him a pass in the first place, and he stayed like competitive, everything. Because the thing is, J. Cole got like, once he got to the top, because he's top 3. It's like, still, I'll say he's top 3. I'm a little hesitant on saying it now compared to before, but he's still top 3. The thing is, once he got to the top 3, he like he dropped that competitive side of him and kind of wanted to be like, oh, well, we the top 3 kings. He got complacent. He was like, oh, we the top 3 kings. We can stay like this. He got complacent while Drake was still low-key trying to snake everybody, and Kendrick could see through the BS and was like, fuck Big 3, it's just Big Me. J. Cole, I get it why he did the whole step out. As a Cole fan, I kind of do wish he didn't step out. I wish he never got shot in the first place. But at the same time, like I said, get out the car, bro. You seen this coming. It's like Cole want to be like, oh, I want to be friends with Drake. No, but this is the worst time to be like, oh, I want to be friends with Drake, bro. Do that. You should have did that 3 years ago. Do that then. Don't do that now. Like, because that's also like certain artists, I feel like they limit themselves on being in like a higher position. Like, for instance, Big Sean. I like Big Sean as an artist. I think he makes dope music. But I feel like Big Sean makes too many mistakes to be put in the conversation of like top 3 or top 5 conversation. Like, literally,
he gets slept on a lot. I be forgetting about my man, but right now, in the state he is now, he ain't put out nothing in a very long time that's worth mentioning, but he was nice. I liked him. You know, I would rather somebody mention him besides Drake. You know, I'd rather be Cole, Kendrick, and Big Sean, but Big Sean never got put in the position to be talked about like that. One, because he was in Kanye's sweatshop. Basically, man.
I feel like he could have. It's just the fact that he made, because I feel like one of his biggest missteps was when he dropped that album with I think with Metro Boomin. I forgot what it was called, but he dropped. Yeah, Big Sean dropped the album with Metro Boomin.
I remember that. I kind of remember.
And that album, it was bad to call it an album. If he called it a mixtape, it would have been fine. If he called it an EP, it would have been fine. But when people hear albums, they think there's a concept, there's a story, there's something, a message that you're trying to portray. That album didn't have any of that. That album that he did with Metro Boomin was literally just Metro Boomin and I got together and made a bunch of songs that sound like they should go together. That's what it was. If it was a mixtape, I swear he would have done better. But the fact that he called it an album and didn't have no actual substance to it, it was like, all right, that's bad. And then most recently, his last album he dropped, I think was like 20 damn songs. I'm like, bro, no album needs to be that long. Like, mixtapes can be, but mixtapes are for like true fans, really, in my opinion. I was like, so a mixtape, make it 20 songs, make it 30 songs is a stretch, but 20 songs, fine. It's for the fans in the first place. But if you make an album that is 20 songs, it's never going to do that well. I get it; they're doing it because it kind of tricks. It's
too much. It's too much meat on the bone. Basically, man, you gotta slim that thing down and make it aim in a direction. But look, we gonna pick. I got some more questions for you, so I'm gonna keep. But we're gonna have to do another episode where we talk strictly hip hop, because I want to get into some other questions with you. And I'm gonna tell Nadine, go back to work. My wife in on the chat. Nadine, go back to work.
Hi, Mrs. Savage.
But and then we'll stay on this one real quick, and I want to jump into some toy questions. We'll make this one real quick. How do you feel about the state of hip hop? Where you think it's gonna go? You think it's in a bad spot? You think it's in a good spot right now? Just real quick.
I think it's in an interesting spot. I think it's potentially good if it keeps going in the direction that it went last year. It's going to be good. I was like I feel like the core hip hop is good. Mainstream hip hop, no, that's not doing good. But like the core hip hop fans, like the artists that, like I said, like Kendrick, The Weeknd, Metro Boomin, like even Future. Like, I feel like they are in a position where they can do good. Now the thing is, with hip hop, I feel like a lot of, well, at least with Kendrick and like other lyrical artists, they do go like 2 to 3 years without dropping stuff. But at the same time, when they do drop, their stuff is so good, you can chew on it for 2 to 3 years. Like, I still to this day go back to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers and listen to that like all the way through.
I will say that, and I've been listening to that GNX, man. I think it's a good album, man. But like I said, I like Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Maybe more so his older stuff. But he's on a new vibe. You got to reinvent yourself. And the reason why I say he hasn't reinvented himself, but he's got that mustard vibe now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he really wasn't rapping on, but that was for YG and all them. You know what I'm saying? But now he's jumped on that, so he's got a little bit more originality as far as his Cali sound. Because even though Kendrick is a California rapper, he never really had a California sound to me. He could rhyme like an East Coast. Well, this is some back in the day shit. Like the East Coast rappers, we ain't gonna front. They were a little bit better than the West Coast guys because the West Coast guys had a certain concept to them, as far as bang banging and just a gangster type or deal. And the East Coast guys, you would have kind of more Afrocentric and using big words and things of that nature, man. But Kendrick has found a new wave, man, and that GNX is half and half. Half of it is soulful and half of it is that mustard vibe. And I like it, man. I always fought with Kendrick, man. And if the hip hop is and the state of hip hop is going to be in his hands moving forward, I'm all for that. So next question is, who is some of your favorite YouTubers, toy tubers that you're watching right now?
Well, of course you. Then after you, I would say D Amazing. I really like D Amazing. I was like, because he has those 2 dope pictures that he takes, and I think those are so fire. After that, there was this other dude. I think his name Parallel Universe. I think is his name. He does pretty dope reviews. I like how in depth he is with it. Like sometimes I do want a quick review, but sometimes I like longer reviews because they really take their time, go into the detail, they show you everything and stuff like that. So like I like that dude Parallel Universe. There's another guy, I forgot his name. It's like SSR3 or something like that. He's pretty cool too. I forgot. He does like One Piece reviews, stuff like that. He's pretty cool. My main thing is like you have to do something more. You have to do more than just review the figure and then like put it down. Like I want to see like pictures of you posing the figure. I want to see like you do stop motions with it. I want to see you do something with the figure because then I personally will value it more. Like if you're like, okay, I got this action figure, I reviewed it, and then you just put it on the shelf and I never see it again. I'm like, did you really care about the figure? Like what? It's equivalent to somebody being like, okay, like if I was a car guy, it's like I feel like it's the equivalent of somebody be like, I rented this new car, I drove it down the street, and then they just return the car and never use it again. It's like, did you really care about it, or were you just reviewing it because everybody was talking about this car? Like for me, I need somebody.
A lot. That happens a lot in this game. I think a lot of half of it's kind of motherfuckers just running the mill, just kind of running the show, and then the other half is guys that's really kind of truly and passionate. But the 2 guys you named, well, I watch Unparalleled Universe every now and then, but D Amazing. He be into a lot of the anime stuff, which I don't really watch that, but he be in a lot of stuff because he's my age that I'm used to, like the Marvel Legends, the G.I. Joe shit, or if I'm just something from our era, man. But I like him, man. I always thought he was just, and he don't do too much, you know what I'm saying? But he got that formula. He got the formula. That's what it is for what he do. His voice package, his texture, his voice, how he pulls up his figures, the picture at the end. Pretty much goes through and show you articulation. My nigga, what more do I have to show you? You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you art and I'm giving you the review at the same time. And it's usually, he's gotten shorter with them shit too. He used to go about 18 minutes, but he'll go about 10 to 12 minutes. And that's it. That's all you need though. And, if anybody, man, I'm happy. I'm really happy for him that he's in the position he is with it, as far as subs and views, man. So, man, I'm gonna switch up your birth certificate, man. You were born in 83.
I know, right? Hey, listen, like I said, I'm an old soul too. I know an old movie that I know you've seen, The Warriors. I've watched that movie.
Oh yeah,
Warriors come out to play.
Coney Island.
Yo, exactly. So I watch old stuff. I went back and watched the whole what was it? Like I said, the RoboCop trilogy and everything.
Oh yeah. That RoboCop, that was definitely some gory shit from back in the day, yo. And just think, we were little kids going to go watch that shit. So, what do you feel like the future for toy collecting will be? You think it's going to be around? You think it's going to end?
I definitely think it's going to be around. I would like for it to like progress a little bit. Like I said, I want more than just review the figure. That's it. Like I think over time, like it's gonna open up more because, like you said, it is a niche thing. But the more people do it, and then the more people show that they do it, the more like acceptable or like the more shameless people are like doing it, that kind of welcomes people and invites people to do it more. I was like, so, and like by that, it's gonna like eventually it's gonna get like more people that are like, I guess, kind of like extroverted that start doing it, that inspire other people to do it, that make them like, oh, they want to show their friends. Like even like with my stop motion videos, I thought I was just doing it for me. I was like, I just want to do this, just have fun. I get thousands of views on those things. I'm like, oh wow, I guess other people do like this. And then like I said, I grew up watching Robot Chicken, which I thought was like the funniest stuff. I thought it was really dope. The older I got, not many people knew about Robot Chicken. But then I would be like, oh, well, do you know this? They were like, oh, yeah. I was like, well, it's stop motion. I was like, and I do stop motion with action figures. And then I show them some of my videos, and they're like, oh, sweat. That's really cool. And then, like, I've actually, like, I've inspired people in my life. Like, once I started doing stop motions and collecting action figures, I inspired other people in my life not to collect action figures or do stop motions, but to do their own like little nerdy things. Like my friend, he started collecting like sports cards. Like he was like, he never did that before, but he was like, once I saw you collecting, I thought that was like really cool and it was really fun. You would really enjoy doing that and having that collection. He started doing that. My mom, she started getting into like, she's a, like, you know, I'm a Christian too. She's like a hardcore Christian where she started getting books to study and stuff like that. And she was like, well, I was kind of inspired the fact that you're so like really into it. Even my girlfriend, like, she's like, I really admire the fact that you're shamelessly like, yeah, I collect action figures. Yeah, I do stop motions. Like, what about it? Like the fact that I'm just like so
healthy hobbies.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that it's like it's a creative outlet.
Yeah, and then that's the big. And me personally, and I'll move on to the next question. Me personally, I don't think it'll ever stop. Be quite honest with you, because there's always going to be some shape, form, of faction of an action figure, even in the early of 20th century, like the wooden little fucking sticks, you know what I'm saying, that a kid might put together. I mean, you're always going to have some type of figure to represent a hero or a villain or just a novelty piece. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it'll ever. But man, we got good guys like you coming up. Yeah, I know you'll pass the torch down, brother. For real. Man, be honest with you, man. This has been a great conversation and shit. Like I gotta get some more of these with you.
Hell yeah, anytime, fam.
let me move on to the next question. Do you customize figures, or do you have any special projects you work on? And I know you mentioned the stop motion.
I do, like, mainly I just do the stop motion. I don't really customize figures like that. Literally, I've only done like one kit bash. Honestly, I think it was like you kind of inspired me to do the kit bash. And it was I took Gung Ho from G.I. Joe. I took his legs and his vest, because I really like that blue. I took his legs and his vest, and I took it and mixed it with I think it was Night Stalker. The other G.I. Joe dude that has dreads. He has the mask. He's like the Predator.
Yeah. I remember you mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. What's his name? Predator looking motherfucker. I never was a big guy on him, but I know you talking about. I think
Night Tracker.
Is it Tracker? Shadow Tracker.
There you go. Shadow Tracker. Yep. I took them and I mixed them, and then I got some sunglasses and everything. I should have brought them. Right now, it's funny. You called me I'm in a snowstorm, so I work at a hotel. So when it's like this, I actually get to stay at the hotel for free since I work tomorrow morning.
That's what's up. It is snowing up in New York and shit, man. Yeah. That's one thing I do not fucking miss. That shit. I like snow though, but not all the time. Then it gets fucking annoying. How bad is it up there right now?
It's not that bad. It's just one of those things where the little bit of snow makes it just slippery enough where it's like, you want to be super slow traveling.
Yeah. That fresh white powder and shit. And people don't be forgetting and shit that, well, my car has 4-wheel drive. I mean, if you hit ice, it's just gonna be fucking 4 tires spinning.
Fact. It's like hydroplaning, fam. It's like, like as a New Yorker, I'm like, I'm true to this. I'm not new to this. I will say, at least we only got it really just recently in February. December and January, we didn't really get it like that. But of course, the winter is gonna be like, hold up, wait a minute, you thought I was finished?
Correct. hit you in some late March type shit, and that's like the worst and shit. So who put you on to collecting?
Honestly, nobody really. I as a kid, I used to collect Transformers first because I used to love like playing with my Transformers, and I would play Transformers and I would watch Transformers at the same time. Like I grew up with Transformers Armada. If anybody got Transformers fans in here, I watched like Transformers Armada, and I would collect those Transformers first. And I would, of course, as a kid, have my own storylines and do stuff with them and like have stuff like that. I didn't make videos back then, but I would just play with them all the time. And then I also had like I got Zoids and Gundams, but they were a little too fragile for the way how rough I was. So I always just had those action figures. But then as I got older, I like played with them less. And like my mom ended up being like, "Oh, you don't play with them, give them away to like some other kids that don't need them." I didn't want to do it, but trying to be a good son and everything, I was like, "Buffett, why not?" I was like, "Fine." Exactly. I was like, "Fine, here you go." So I gave them to them, and then I just stopped collecting for a while. And then like over the past, like I'll say like not last year or the year before last, just randomly I went into the shed to look for something. I was like helping my mom clean out something. And then I was like, oh snap, is that some of my action figures? I thought all those were given away. And then I went through it. I was like, oh, these are all like not all of them, but all like most of the Transformers. I was like, oh, they actually survived and they were in pretty decent condition. And then I was with my girlfriend in a Walmart one time, and we had come across another Transformer. And I was like, man, I remember when I used to get them. I was like, the ones I got weren't as cool as this, though. Like, times have changed. And then, like, I was like, as a joke, I was like, yeah, well, imagine if I got it. I was like, yeah, no, my girlfriend wouldn't accept that. And my girl was like, I mean, you got the money. Get it if you want to. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah. I was like, I used to. Might as well. And then I got it. And honestly, bro, after I made that purchase, I swear, like I unlocked a part of me that I forgot about. I was like, yo, it's fun collecting. I was like, and the fact that I knew about how to record and do the stop motions, I was like, I'm about to start collecting again. So I started collecting Transformers again. Then I went from Transformers to Marvel Legends. And then I went from Marvel Legends to like, I think after Marvel Legends, I went to Amazing Yamaguchi, which is also a Japanese company. And then from Amazing Yamaguchi to SH Figure Arts. And SH Figure Arts, the ones I stand by now, pretty much.
Yeah, man. And that kind of leads me into my next question. Domestic or import figures? Which, if you had to choose?
I like import more. Because they give you more stuff. I feel like it's more bang for my buck. I will say domestic, I feel like I don't think I've ever had a domestic figure. I've never had a domestic figure from a big company break on me. I have had a domestic figure break on me, but it was one of those things where I was buying it from a small company and it was like, all right, they're like a startup, so I'll give them that leeway type thing.
Yeah, hey, I would say that I like imports, but I think I'm more domestic. But I don't have a problem with either or. I can just tell just from my own ways just how many figures do I buy versus the other, and I have way more domestic. I will say domestic is more durable because for some odd reason they almost kind of still make them like they're gonna make them for children. Where import, they know kids aren't playing with these. We're making these for adults, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's the huge difference because, like I say, I got this fucking G.I. Joe right here, and I'll just hurl him across the fucking room. And I know he's not going to break, but I'm definitely not going to pick up a Mayfax and do that. You know what I'm saying? Because just simply off the way the plastic feels on it, man. So, but man, yeah, but import over domestic, I totally understand where you're coming from on that because it's almost like a finer figure, like caviar, basically. Do you attend any cons?
I attended a Comic-Con back in, I think it was 2021, if not 2020. I attended a Comic-Con, but other than that, not that many. Like I live right next to New York City, so I just haven't really. Like the very first Comic-Con I even attended, I was kind of like, I was kind of on the fence about it, and my mom was like, "Just go. Like you're young, you might as well just go and have fun." And I did attend it, and it was really good. I do plan on doing another one in the future, maybe not this year, but maybe like next year. I do want to go to it. It's just honestly, it's just I don't even know what it is. I was like, I want to say, I guess if anything, I guess maybe the money. It's like that's the only thing that like kind of makes you like be on the fence about it.
Yeah, I totally understand. I went to Joe Fest last year, and the only reason because it's close to me. It's in Augusta, and that's like 2.5, 3 hours from Fayetteville. So I went down there, but there's always cons popping up in Fayetteville or, excuse me, in Raleigh. But I do want to go to some of the bigger ones. Like I do want to go to New York Comic Con. I definitely want to go to that in the I believe it's the Javits Center or something like that.
I'll say if you do come, let me know. I'll go to that same one. I was like, because it's dope.
No doubt. Hopefully I can do it this coming up year. I just got to see where I'm at as far as my company wise. Am I able to leave like that, or do I still have to be in the field and do stuff like that? But hopefully by that time I'll have things set up, man, where I say, hey, I'm gonna just take off for a couple of days, man. But if I do, I'll most definitely let you know. But I definitely want to do that. I kind of wanted to do New York Toy Fair, but I don't think that's the biggest thing as it used to be. San Diego sounds cool, but it just sounds too expensive, and not like I couldn't afford it if I decided to go, but do I really want to go over there? You know what I'm saying? Like go all the way to the West Coast for that shit where I could just do a New York Comic Con and call it a day. You know what I'm saying? Like this is home base on this side here, man.
And I will say, difference between the New York Comic Con and the San Diego, I feel like the San Diego one is recorded and put online a lot more than the New York one is.
Yeah, it is. It's the bigger fish, I would say, out of the two. But being that it's New York, they're gonna pull out the big guns. You know what I'm saying? For even though you might not have the full cast of Avengers there, like at San Diego Comic Con, but I'm not gonna go see them niggas anyway. You know exactly. I'm not gonna go in that fucking room and go sit down. Like when I went to Joe Fest last year, like they had a whole bunch of shit going on, like upstairs. I was like, oh damn, they are up there. You know what I'm saying? But man, I was on the floor with the toys. That's where I was at. That's what I'm most excited about, and seeing the people dressed up and shit like that. And that's what it is. It's more kind of almost like a spectacle, rather than the toys. Once you start getting to that level, because people are in cosplay and all that good shit, man. So I definitely have the New York Comic Con on the list. And next question here is, what do you prefer? I had old school hip hop or new school, but I'll make it even tighter. 90s versus the 2020s. Which era is better as far as hip hop?
Oh, I would say,
because I'm older, so I'm gonna say 90s. But for you're a younger guy, but you got that old soul, man. So
right, that's why it's a little hard. I was like, I would say honestly, like 2000s, like the 2000s hip hop or the 2020s. I was at like 2010s up. I was like, because there's like, while I don't get me wrong, I do love the 90s hip hop. I just feel like I personally return to like the 2010s and 2020s hip hop a lot more. And that might be because it's a generational thing, because their rap, like I grew up with them. I remember being young, listening to their mixtapes and listening to like having the debates in high school and middle school about who's better, whose mixtape or who album was better and stuff like that. And even the way I had to go about listening to it. Like I don't know if you remember LimeWire.
Yeah. I used to steal music from there. Well, it wasn't even steal. They would give it away on that shit. Yeah,
right.
I remember.
I remember downloading a song, finding out it was the wrong song, having to find another song that's really the title and everything. Like I remember that. I remember those struggles of like trying to get it, because I also back then I was like I wanted to buy albums, but I was broke, so I had to go to YouTube, rip the music or steal it or whatever, and burn the CD to make your own album or make your own mixtape of the songs and stuff like that. So I would say because of all that, I would pick the 2010s or 2020s hip hop more. Doesn't mean I don't love the 90s and everything. It's close. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I personally return to the later hip hop.
I wish LimeWire is still around now, because I'm looking for some music to steal now so I can play on my channel. I ain't getting paid anyway for this shit. I want to play fucking any music I want to. So I wish LimeWire was around, because I need to be a pirate.
Hey, listen, Jay, still got YouTube rippers around. If you can find the song on YouTube, just copy that URL, post it in YouTube Ripper. Boom, there you go.
You need to put me on that because I definitely need it, yo. Like for real, like no bullshit.
I got you.
Here's the next question. In a fight, who you think will win? And I was trying to pick people that you usually deal with, Goku or Wolverine.
Ooh.
I was trying to pick a good one because Goku is almost like Superman and shit.
Yeah, I would say honestly, like even though it'd be nice to say Wolverine, it's gonna be Goku because Goku is strong enough and has a blast that's strong enough where it can destroy Wolverine's adamantium. And even though it's like, oh, Wolverine can regenerate, it's like, bro, if they can defeat somebody like Cell who could also regenerate, Goku's gonna be able to take care of Wolverine. Now, granted, it's like knowing Goku, he's not gonna go all out immediately. So Wolverine will get like some good hits on him. But at the end of the day, I really would say that Goku is gonna take the dub in that fight.
I can see that. It was hard. I didn't want to put anybody too powerful for Goku. I was gonna say Goku or Superman, but I don't think Goku can fuck with Superman.
I would say in that one, I would say Superman's taking that.
Yeah, so it was kind of hard. It's kind of hard to find a match for this mother because he has the martial arts skill. He can fly. He can shoot shit. Who can match up with him? And I was like, well, Wolverine's a real durable motherfucker. So let me try to throw him at it. But I can understand Goku beating Wolverine plus Wolverine's my guy. That's like my favorite superhero. So let me go with my guy. Let me throw my guy up there and shit.
I feel you. I was like, yeah, I'm not like a huge nerd about it, but I am a little bit into the power scaling stuff. Like I remember growing up, my favorite superhero is Static Shock. One of my best friends' favorite superhero is Spider-Man, and we would always have these debates on like who would win, Spider-Man versus Static Shock, and it would be the craziest thing because I would be like, well, one of the most important things about that fight is, are we going with the comic book accurate Spider-Man where his webs are made out of like a synthetic metal, or are we going where his webs are organic? I was like, because that's like a huge factor in it. Because like if his webs are organic, then that's a big problem because Static can't do that. I was like, but if his webs are made of synthetic metal, Static can control all metal, so that's a problem right there. I was like, he might not be able to hit Spider-Man. Spider-Man's not going to be able to really do anything to Static either.
Yeah, it gets technical when you start because you start expanding on people's powers and trying to dig into that because it's always a yin to a yang or a different way to figure. But that's I would think Spider-Man would get him. I think Spider because just because of Spider-Man's skill level, and that goes back to another thing where you say your homeboy collects the sports cards. I used to collect the Marvel cards, and it would show their different skill levels and shit on the back, like Flair back in 1993. And just Spider-Man was a very, very skillful motherfucker, man. Especially as an older Spider-Man. We ain't talking about young Tom Holland. We talking about Spider-Man in the 90s. Like he's a well-seasoned crime fighter. But then let me read this right here because Legend just said something very useful here. He says, unfortunately, looks like we just lost Swiftshot. What happened? Says, unfortunately, even if we are not monetized, they will still block the video and strike you. So be careful. Okay, that's a good piece of information. Let me add them.
Hit the comments. My bad. I tried to hit the comments.
Okay. Yeah, I'm about to say we just lost this shot here, man. But hey, man, we probably got like 10 more minutes left, man. I'm gonna knock out these next questions.
It's all good.
How do you feel about AI? People using the AI. I've been using it in my last couple of videos, man. I think it's pretty dope. To be honest with you.
I think it's really good. I don't understand. Like I kind of do, but I really don't understand like the hate that it got when it comes to AI, like whether it be art or like using it really for anything. Like I like it for the stop motion thing. I think we can change the name of it. Like even when I know I've been saying I do stop motion, but I just say stop motion because that's what everybody knows. When I do my own videos, I call it myself chop motion because stop motion, the classic stop motion is like, all right, you pose it once, take a picture, pose it a little bit different, take a picture. Like you constantly do that. I don't do that with my videos. With my videos, I pose it and then I make a little bit of a video, and then I do I take like not a dramatic change of pose, but I like if the person's like walking like this, and then I put like this, I'm not gonna do like boom, 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 boom. Like, no, I'm like, you can fill in the blanks on what's happening. So because of that, I call it personally chop motion, because it's chopped up videos put together to make the animation. So I would say, like with the AI videos, if people wanted to, they could make their own name for it, AI motion or whatever. But I think it's great. I think it would be a dope tool. And even when it comes to the AI art, I think that's cool and everything. I know some people hate it because they're like, oh, well, like it's stealing other people's art. I'm like, well, really, it's really inspired by other people's art, because at the end of the day, I'm the one putting in the input. Like, I'm the one that's actually saying, oh, I want like a cat, but I want it to be a black cat. I want it to be a black cat with orange eyes. I want it to be a black cat with orange eyes with a gray stripe. It's like, well, like, yeah, sure. There might be a picture online that has that cat, but not looking the way that I made it look. And they didn't use the same painting or the same paintbrush that I made it look. Like, people that like, it's almost like if people are like, well, if somebody paints one thing one time, anytime somebody else paints anything close to that, it's a copy. It's like, no, it's an inspiration. I'm not going to go the super nihilist route of like anything humans do is original, because I think the fact that you can remix everything in the world makes it its own original in its own right. So like, I think it's really great in general, whether it be for AI art, the AI stop motions. Shoot, if you better than me, because I don't even know how to do it when it comes to the stop motions. I was like, so I seen it on your video, the last one you just dropped, I think.
Yeah, well, man, I just came across that, man. It came from the app that I use to do my thumbnails, and then it just asked me, do you want to make this picture move? I said, well, yes, I do. So I hit it. 3 minutes later, it did this clip right here. Watch this shit right here. And
that's fire.
You know what I'm saying? That came from a picture that I took. You know what I'm saying? I was editing that picture in the photo art. That's the name of the app. And then it asked me if I want to do that. Now, sometimes they'll do some funky shit like, yo, what the fuck? You just do it. It goes to some way other shit. I'm like, nah. But it has something you can type in and kind of, channel it to do something. But, if I could use that little piece in my little videos, man, that is fine and dandy with me.
And it saves so much time. Like, that's another thing too, because bro, like when you look at my Instagram, like I do have some actual classic stop motions on my Instagram, but I stopped doing that because bro, it will take me like hours. Like there'd be some times when it would take like a whole day, if not two, to do one video. And then like I put in all that time and effort into that video, and like, yeah, I still like the video, but like at that point, I would like to get a decent amount of views or a decent amount of likes on it. I put in like hours upon hours to make that video, to make it classic stop motion, and I don't really get that many views or likes on it, versus me doing like a 5-second chop motion version video that like took me maybe 30 to 45 minutes. Boom, bunch of likes, bunch of shares and everything. It's like, bro, at a certain point, you can like, okay, there's like a cost. You gotta do the trade-off. It's like I could put in more time and effort to do this, but it's not even gonna get the same amount of views or notoriety or love as I do it if I do it the time-saving way. And it's not like me doing it the other way, like the time-saving way means I like it less. It just makes it so it's actually more enjoyable. Because sometimes the reason why it takes me so long to make a video is because I'm like, I stop and think about how many frames do I have to animate? How am I gonna piece it together? How much time is it gonna take me to edit it? And at a certain point, you'd be like, damn, that's like a little bit of daunting task. Like actually, I already have a video in mind using the audio from the Super Bowl halftime. But I already know that video I'm gonna make, I have to record like 20 to 25 different frames. And then I have to edit it together and then match it up with the music. So I'm like, yeah, I might Might end up doing that this week. Might end up doing that next week because it's like, oh, that's a big task.
Yeah, man, it's really getting a formula in editing. But let me answer this question right here, because guys was asking about it. DJ Mr. McFly says that was dope. I thought you learned how to do stop motion. I mean, that what y'all just seen came from a picture that I actually took. I wonder if I stored the picture. I'm gonna let you guys see it. But Legend Series says, how exactly did you prop Xandar to do that? I mean, it did that on its own, man. That shit was crazy, man. Like, it came from a picture that I took. I don't think I stored it in here. Damn it. I should have did that shit earlier. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. But what y'all see Xandar doing, like standing there, that's the actual picture I took with him reading that Creep Show book. It's actually the thumbnail to my bike that I did, the latest video I dropped yesterday. And it just did its own thing from there, Tony, man. Like, it just did its own. I didn't even tell it to do that because I didn't know that you could write a small sentence and make it do, kind of steer what it's going to do. But it just did that shit on its own, like the bird flying in and all that. The app, Eric Hawkins, is Fotor, like motor, but it's Fotor. But as far as me doing stop motion, I'm still want to get into it. And I actually want to do the traditional stop motion, man, like moving. But like I say, like, you got to do it. It's like a formula. Like, just say like your cartoon Dragon Ball Z. There's a lot of action in that shit, right? But then there's sometimes where Goku is just like doing this, and that shit might take 2 minutes of him. He's thinking, and there's other things going on, but that doesn't take a lot. So, and the people who draw that shit know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to do some scenes where we ain't got to do too much, and it's just eyes moving and people talking. That happens a lot in Dragon Ball. Even though there's a lot of action scenes, there's a lot of scenes where they're just moving their eyes and shit, and people just kind of standing there talking and shit, man. Which they do with all cartoons. They want to cut down on many frames they got to draw, because that's just like doing stop motion. There's thousands of pictures that have to be drawn to make all that shit gone, just like it has thousands of pictures that need to be took. But I think the best form of art to put out for a stop motion is the traditional way. I think you can get into a story more. That's what Robot Chicken was. You know what I'm saying? That's what any other stop motion, where they put the time in to give you that product that's a top, standard or whatnot, man. But I'll move on to the next question. I'll say this one more thing. That shit you talking about, like, you put a lot of work into a video and motherfuckers like, man, fuck that video. And then you just didn't put a lot of work into one video, and it just, that happens to me a lot, yo. I'll be like, God damn, yo, I put a lot of work into that video. And,
right? You be like, what
they
the
only
heck?
got this much of this video, right? I ain't do a fucking thing. And just like my G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe videos, where I just really rehash out what I seen from the Hasbro Pulse live stream. And granted, people want to see me talk about that, and I can carry on a conversation about that, but that'll garner thousands of views rather than something I went and worked on, which will, get a couple hundred or whatnot, which I'm thankful for anything I get. But it makes you wonder, like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
And
I don't want to do the easier route all the time, but that's a part of what I do. But I don't want to go that way just because it garners thousands of fucking views. You know what I'm saying? So
it makes you feel like you did something special in the easier one. But you're like, but I did, like, I put more work in the other thing. You be like, what crack did I sprinkle over here that I didn't sprinkle over here? Like,
yeah, correct. But man, it just be like that, man. It's something I learned that from the beginning when I first came on YouTube, and I had some videos that I worked hard on, and they get like 50 views. And then I did this. Then I noticed I did the videos where I just set up and talk. Didn't even have no real action figures up there. Just talking about a topic, especially a hot one, because that's when HasLab's like, oh, there was a big HasLab war and shit. And I had brought this. I brought the G.I. Joe Sky Striker HasLab and shit, and that was my first video to garner like 1,000 views. I'm like, all right, I ain't even have no script. I just came downstairs, talked for like 10 minutes, and put the shit out there, and it boom. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow. I say this internet is a funny, strange place. Hey, but man, last question here, man, and I know I've been holding you up for a minute, man. What would you like to see more from the action figure community,
Honestly, I would like to see a little bit more like creativity. I feel like a lot of action figure like channels are like kind of stuck in a rut where it's like they really just like they review the figure and first off, the figures that they choose to review, I feel like I said before, like I question is like, did you review the figure because you actually like the figure? And you wanted to talk about it, or did you just review the figure because you know it's a new figure, it's a hot topic right now, and then you're never gonna see it ever again? Like, and even like when they compare, like when they do, like some people do compare, like, oh, like this current figure compared to the other figure, like height wise and stuff like that. It's like, didn't you just get a new figure? Why didn't you put that most recent figure next to that other figure? It's like I want to see more creativity, whether it be them taking pictures with the action figures, them like making videos with the action figures, even the way that they review the action figure. Like, don't just be like boring with it. Like, there was this one dude that I used to watch. He doesn't really make YouTube videos anymore, but he was called The Lazy Eyebrow. He did stop motion reviews with Transformers. So literally the review was stop motion. So you wouldn't ever see his hands. You would see like the whole car transform in front of you. You would see, he'd be like, okay, it has arm rotation and like wrist rotation. Like you would see him animated in stop motion style. And like, I know it takes time, but my thing is reviews like that, like I'll go back and watch them like a few times. Like it gets more views because the quality of it has more substance. Just like we were talking about with the music, it's like when something's that good, people will watch it and then watch it again and then go on some time and then they'll come back and watch it again because sometimes you just want to watch something. Sometimes you just want to have something on in the background when you're eating or when you clean the house or you working or whatever. Sometimes you just want to have something in the background and it's cool, especially with the action figures, because not everybody can afford every action figure. So like sometimes you want to hear somebody talk about an action figure and be like, okay, I'm like, I don't have it. And I know I'm not going to get it anytime soon, but it's cool them talking about it, especially when they're giving it a fair review. Like, I'm not saying you always have to glaze every action figure, but I feel like there's people that, like, I'm not going to say no names right now. I was like, but you know who exactly I'm thinking about. There's some people that be pissing me off. They were like, oh, this action figure, it makes a noise when you move it. It's like, bro, what does that matter? It's like, no, in no way, shape, or form does making an action figure making a noise when you are moving it actually matter. Because when you're making a video with it, I guarantee you never use the audio that actually is being heard when you're recording that pose. When you're taking a pictures, there's no audio for the picture. And anybody that actually does stuff with their action figure knows 9 times out of 10, if there's a squeaking noise when you're actually moving your action figure, after you move it for like a little bit of time, that squeaking noise goes away because you kind of wore down whatever it was squeaking. And just because you wear it down doesn't mean now it's loose. It just means that you got the brand new coat off of it. It was like, that's really it. I was like, some people be like, oh, the shading on this action figure sucks. It's like, bro, well, what do you want from them? They're mass producing this. I was like, and the quality is so good. I'm sorry that they didn't color every nook and cranny of like, of Cooler or Cell or Frieza. It's like, but listen, bro, you can customize it yourself and do that yourself. It's like for the average Joe, I feel like the average Joe, when they buy a figure, they don't want to also do other stuff. Like if they want to, sure, go above and beyond. Cut a little bit of part out of the diaphragm so they can bend over a little bit more. But if they don't do that, they're fine with it because they're like, well, at least I just bought it and it's really good. Like it actually is able to bend over. It's able to have the butterfly joints. Some people be criticizing the butterfly, like the same guy want to be like, oh, Cooler had the butterfly joints. They only go to here. I'm like, fam, what do you want him to do? Give himself a fucking bear hug? It's like, bro, like butterfly joints go a long way. Even with, what is this? Scar, Son of Hulk. His butterfly joints mainly just go back because his chest is so big. They don't really go forward, but he can still like touch Knuckles like this. And he can do the fact that they can go back. He can do the whole ground pound move, like he's about to slam on the ground and stuff like that. It's like a little bit goes a long way. And it's like, bro, if you don't give like the toy companies like the flowers for what they do, like I don't understand how you expect them to ever do better, because at some point they're going to hit a point where they're like, well, these collectors just hate everything that we do, so why should we try to do better? It's like, bro, like give flowers where the credit is due, because it's like this. I can name, like I said, Hasbro, they're stingy with upgrading stuff. Like I was surprised that Cyclops had butterfly joints, because they didn't want to give anybody else's butterfly joints. And even though it's like, I'm glad that Cyclops has butterfly joints, they didn't give him toe articulation. And it's like, well, I know you guys are aware of that, so like do that. It's like that's another thing I would say with the action figure collectors. I wish that we also kind of help educate each other on certain things, that what you examples of what to expect or what to ask for from a company. Asking for them to detail paint every nook and cranny, I don't feel like that's a realistic thing to ask for. But asking for butterfly joints or toe articulation, that's a reason thing to ask for, because I feel, and that's a reason thing to bring to other collectors' attention, because I feel like as a collector myself, I didn't know what a butterfly joint was until I got a character like Cyclops. I didn't know what a toe articulation was until I got a character like Spider-Man. And then once I got those things, I was like, wow, now this figure is way better than pretty much every other figure that doesn't have it. So it's like, well, now I would like these other figures that I have, I would like them to have an updated version with these things, because then it's like, okay, great. Now the better articulation, I can pose them better in pictures. I can do more with them in videos, and they just all around it validates because we know the price is expensive already, so it validates that price more, because you're like, well, it can do this, that, and the third. There's no reason. Like I for instance, I also like the fact that they have, I know it's not actually pinless, but they look like they're pinless joints on the Hasbro figures. I like that. I feel like every single action figure that's a humanoid body should be pinless. Like there's no reason nowadays, I admit, like, call me bougie if you want, but I feel like now in 2020 something, we should not be seeing action figures with pins in their joints. They make them all pinless. Like I'm at the point where I don't buy. If I see pins, I'm not buying it. I'm like, I don't. You might call me bougie. I was like, but if there's pins in the figure, I'm like, I'm not buying that figure.
With that shit, man.
Exactly. I was like, I'm not with it. I'm like, nope. It needs to be pinless, and it 9 times out of 10, it better have butterfly joints. Toe articulation, I'm like, okay, fine. That's not that huge of a deal. Like, I'll take it if they have it, but if they don't have it, I'm not gonna like really be upset about it. But butterfly joints, I will be upset about. I'm like, yo, fam. Also with articulation, be realistic with articulation. People be like, oh, if the action figures can only T-pose. I'm like, well, bro, take your arm and go like this. How far up can you really go before your arm starts to hurt? And then my thing is, they act like they can't take their arm and rotate it and like have it go up like this. It's like, bro, like that's a realistic thing. They be like, oh, it can only T-pose. It's like, well, bro, like how long can you hold the T-pose in real life? They be like, oh, it can only like do that. Like, bro, like move the arm around. Be realistic with the articulation out here. Think about you as a human while you're holding a humanoid action figure. What can you do? What do you expect that figure to do? That's why I'm like, butterfly joints is great, because as a human, you can do that. Like the fact that you can like go in and out. I want my action figures to do everything that I can do as a human. So, and
to be honest with you, though, be quite honest with you, at the end of the day, I am all for articulation. I think over paint, or really anything else, like articulation, even damn near almost over scope, but yeah, scope which really makes them great. But I'm more just articulation. But our bodies can do some things that an action figure will never. I don't give a fuck how they, you know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna look funny when it starts to do things that we could do. It gets weird. Like even though SH figure arts can move really good, it gets gappy sometimes when you get that extra articulation in there, and they can't help it. It doesn't have skin that stretches. or anything like that, man. But no, I'm definitely feel you on it, man. And even with sometimes things are warranted, sometimes are not. I like toe articulation, but sometimes I don't because it makes the standing weak. Like sometimes Mayfac's toe articulation can get a little loose. You know what I'm saying? After a while, just not strong enough to hold up. And as far as YouTubers, of course, I think people lean more towards the negative than the positive shit. Even the positive guys, the so-called positive guys, they'll have their little nitpicks about figures, but I think more leaning on that negative note. I think that's the bigger draw. You know what I'm saying? And you might have a valid point on some negativity shit, but I can tell when motherfuckers is leaning into that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the big ticket in town, man. And when it comes to that, I don't even think in between YouTubers, it's not even about the action figures anymore. It's about the egos, motherfucker. I just don't like you. You know what I'm saying? I wish motherfuckers were really. I wish motherfuckers would really, say that. Like it ain't about the action, motherfucker. I'm not feeling you over there. You know? But I just sit back and watch the show, man. But yeah, man. Let me read some of these comments, man. Then we'll tie this one up, Swiftshot, man. It's been a wonderful conversation, brother.
Oh hell yeah! I can do this. I can do this anytime, fam. Like if I wasn't working tomorrow, I'd be like, we can keep going. Let's go.
Hey, so Nerd Alert says I'm out, fellas. Late for me, man. So much fun tonight. Thanks, yo. Peace, man. Peace for everybody. Shout out to Legend Series Tony, man. Thank you for moderating. If you guys were interested in some of the things we talked about, take a look in the comment section. He put some links up there. He offered to come in and do that for me, man. This past week, man, and I'm truly appreciative of you for that, brother, man. And let me see who else before we get out of here. Usually the next page come across as too negative. It sounds like pretentious and pompous. Yes. Legend Series says facts. And Broby One Kenobi. That's always a dope name. Broby One Kenobi. Great interview and show, fellas. Thank you, man. Let me see. But yeah, man, Swiftshot, man, brother, it was wonderful, man, having you on, man, and very natural conversation. I would like to do some things with the future, man, if you ever got any time, man, and a lot of great insightful things, man, that we talked about, man. And like I say, man, I'm gonna get you a new birth certificate and shit. I ain't gonna do 83. I'm gonna get you 79. This nigga graduated in 1998 and shit. I'm gonna get you a 79 birth certificate. Hey, you a little bit older than me.
Anytime, fam. Listen, especially the hip hop conversation, we can do this anytime. Like I'm always in your chat. I was like, so I'm always anytime this on Saturdays or even during the week, I'm free, bro. I was like, I'm definitely free. I was like, especially to have a conversation, whether it be more action figures or hip hop, because that hip hop conversation, we gotta have a dedicated stream to that alone. I was like, because we could talk about that for a while.
Yeah, hey, we'll chat it up right quick. Let me end this live stream here, man, and then you'll still be backstage. We'll chat for like 2 minutes. I know it's late, man, and we'll talk about some things in the future, man. But let me send the people out. Hey, everybody that came through, Jason, BX Medic, guys still here, DJ Mr. McFly, Mike Powers, Jay's Figs, Legend Series, of course, man. I thank all of y'all, man. It's always a pleasure, man. Hopefully we can have some more good shows like this coming out of Savage Land. I hope everybody has a blessed week, man. You know how I always say, man, even if you're not Christian, I'm praying for you. I'm praying that you covered throughout the week. I'm praying that you have a great mind state. I'm praying for your family to keep a murderer, thief, robber for coming in your home, man. You guys are always in my heart, and I make sure you always covered, man. But this is the Savage Land, Straight Savage Podcast, another great Saturday night, especially with my man Swiftshot, the Autobot here, who's actually, by the end of this live stream, is older than me. And that's how we normally say. Until the next time.
God bless.
God bless.
Go on, get out of here. Who needs ya?